Hi everyone, welcome to episode 14 of the Drake, Michigan podcast. I hope you're all doing fantastic and we've got a fantastic show in store for you today. I'm going to do things a little bit backwards for you today, just for the simple reason, so we're going to edit this clip what I'm talking to you now about, and it'll be at the start of the video what we filmed yesterday with Linda Scott. Now, the reason I've done that, because I want to bring you in. So a few days ago, Linda was on the phone with Anthony and they were discussing various things about coming on the podcast and things that we were going to talk about. And what she did was, she said to Critch, she said, you're going to be in touch with somebody, like a past life regressionist, you're going to put them in touch with me, and then that's going to help me bring my guides through and help her on her journey. Then, lo and behold, so I think that was on the Thursday, on the Friday, Anthony was on the phone to a lady in Bournemouth who we're going to introduce you soon and get her onto the podcast in the future as well. And it just so happens she is a past life regressionist and therapist. And not only that, she was actually taught by Dolores Cannon. So she's got a great teacher and sort of education behind her. And then Anthony's put her in touch with Linda, which is exactly what she said would happen. So I don't know how you want to read into that, but it was definitely interesting. Now, also, just so you know, for people who are listening and not watching on the video, we're currently sat in the new studio room. Let Critch have a little walk around so other people who are watching on video can see it. If you're not on the video and you're listening, we've started miscoating the walls. Everything's plastered now. The lights are up, the electric's on, the heater's on. We're going to look into new carpets and all the rest of the furniture. A few more weeks and we're going to have the new headquarters ready. It's going to be fantastic. What we're going to do there is that's going to give us so many opportunities with our podcasts and the other shows that we're introducing. And we are going to be offering a fantastic opportunity, a fantastic prize for one lucky winner. But we'll go into that another time. But we're going to give somebody the opportunity to have the whole podcast experience or film an episode of their show, create a promotional advert or whatever it is, but we'll come up with that and we'll give you that another time. So what I wanted this is the reason why we're going to edit and show you this after, is because during the podcast that happened on Monday, we spoke with Linda about many things. And one thing that she said to us, we went over to Manchester and we picked her up, and synchronicity was already happening. So we had already said in the car, I guarantee when we pick Linda up, it'll be 11 minutes past 11. And I shit you not, she come out of her front door, she opened my back seat of my car and jumped in, and the clock struck 11:11. And straight away she said, it's meant to be, I'm coming today. And we were laughing because we said we knew that would happen. So little synchronicities. Then she'd already told us as well, guides were giving her information and talking to her. And she'd already said, if I talk about anything today that I'm not supposed to talk about or whatever, spirit or the energy will let us know, and then we won't be able to talk about it. And I thought, okay, that's fine. Let's just see what happens. So then we went forward and we started the podcast and we were talking. Anyway, there was one or two subjects where we started to discuss and talk about. And then suddenly the telly come on. No one had touched anything, the telly come on. But not only that, the computer went down and it stopped recording. And we were like, what's going on? And Linda was like, it's the energy. I'm not supposed to talk about that. People have to find their own way of waking up and their own awakening. It's not for me to tell them how to do it, my journey, because everybody's on a different journey. But I can vouch to you now, that happened twice while we were during the podcast yesterday. Then, off camera, we were stood around having a cup of tea when we'd finished. And Linda then actually asked about a young man who was in the room, the energy of a young man in the room. And she said, "Oh, I think this is your friend." And then she even said to me, did he take his own life? Did he hang himself? Now, no one, first time I'd ever met Linda, and nobody knows anything about my friend or whatever. So I only can take things on the merit and the credit of what happened. And she also mentioned a few other things that she could not have known. So I'm going to have to give her full credit, because she did mention things that she just couldn't have known. So that gave me a lot of reasons to take on board a lot of things that happened during that podcast. A lot of it's very deep. A lot of people are not ready for it yet. And I know Linda has her own perceptions and views of explaining things, but everybody's at different stages. Some people are just getting into meditation. Some people are just getting into yoga. Some people are going through a spiritual awakening, and it's very so everyone's at different stages of their own journey. And so for me, it's great to have all these different people coming on the podcast and sharing their stories. And Linda has got an absolutely unbelievable story to share with people. And I think you're going to enjoy it. And some of it is going to be a little bit deep, I'm not going to lie. Some people might say, I can't take that, but that's okay as well. Maybe in a few years' time, things happen, and then things suddenly start to click, and you're like, whoa, I remember that podcast a few years back. So anyway, without further ado, let's have a quick shout out to our sponsors. And now, let's introduce today's guest, Linda Scott. Linda, welcome to the Drake Michigan podcast.
Thank you.
It is an absolute pleasure to have you here today.
Good.
There's been a lot of excitement actually this last week and a half since we said to people you were going to come. We put a little thing out on TikTok for people to listen to, and a few people said, whoa, who is this person? I want to hear more. A lot of people on the community were like, this is going to be powerful, we want to hear more. Yeah. There'll be some people who are listening to the podcast, everyone's on their own stage of their journey. And there'll be some people where it might be, some things might be a little bit too deep. But I also know in a few years' time, it'll resonate with them then when they're ready. Because everyone's at their own. It'll resonate
with them now or it won't.
Well, exactly. and you know.
There's no future.
So I think the Drake Michigan thing is it's all about planting seeds. And what we're trying to do is say to people, look, if there's a little bit of truth in what we're saying here, what else are we saying?
You'll feel it. You'll feel it. If you don't feel it, then it's like, listen, you go up to a cafe, right? You're ordering food. The food's in front of you. Which food are you going to take? Which you're craving. So that's how energy works. So if you don't like the food, then they're not meant to eat it, you know?
Well, that sounds like a good analogy to me.
It is. That's a good analogy. Yeah,
so,
good analogy.
Where, Critch, I know you've got a lot of questions. So, where do you want to kick off?
I thought we'd try and, if you don't mind. So, let's go back
Can you take this off for me?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's go back to your 5 years of age.
When I died when I was 5, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, I've never forgot that. That's the clearest memory that I've ever had in my head because it's never left.
Right.
This is what I mean when you die. You have to die here. You don't die when you die. Your personality's got to die here. Okay?
Yeah.
You are not Anthony. You are not.
Yeah.
I'm not Linda.
Yeah.
And the only way that I could bring this information through was Linda had to die. Okay?
Okay.
But I was going through that much trauma when I was 5, so I was took out anyway. I was being raped and abused, so I was took away when I was 5. But when I came back, it was a conscious choice for me to go through pain. I've got to say that. I knew they showed me at this age, bringing this information through, and that's how important it was. So I had to come back. I didn't want to come back. I was scared. I was saying I don't want to go back because it was like giving me all this power. Well, imagine me coming back and telling people I'm Jesus. Come on. I knew I was going to get attacked. I knew I was going to be ridiculed. I knew I was going to be shamed. I knew I was going to be raped.
Mm-hmm.
But then it showed me healed from my own personality.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, you've got to go back into that personality. I more or less came in as a watcher. I was a watcher then. And that's all I am now, just watching you all play around, and that is exactly as it is.
So is it fair to say, Linda, you perceive this reality, if you like, as your body is a vessel, but ultimately we are just all the energy?
Your body's the temple.
The temple.
The chakras are the dimensions. The voice is God. Okay? Your voice is God. My voice is God. Because that's the frequency of us. That's why your voice, when you raise your Kundalini, your voice changes. Mine was that before, but it went very deep and powerful when I rose my Kundalini. But yeah, growing up, I didn't have a voice. I just used to watch people because I knew that the voice was... A lot of people were just speaking from the ego. But when your ego is fluid, the voice goes deep. When it's really high, hi, it's me, you know what I mean, then it's being fake. And you always know from the voice, because it's like the spiritual community at the moment. You know, if they say, if it doesn't resonate with you, then, well, they're just PayPalers. They're looking for money, they're looking at... Actually, it's a shame, because they're not manifesting, but they're looking for you to look at them and honour them. And like the elite do. But once you honour another person, your own temple's disturbed.
Right.
You can't honour other people unless you're honouring the self. And when you honour the self, then you don't really need to speak and honour anyone, because your frequency does it.
Okay. So how do people start to work on themselves?
By closing their eyes and asking themselves, what is the self?
Who am I, kind of thing?
Yes.
Or what am I?
Remember, the I am is your self.
Yeah.
It's only the awareness to your own frequency of your voice, though. That's why a lot of people don't like their own voice. They can't watch themselves on camera. They're actually frightened of the self. Oh, you know. Don't like their own voice.
I used to hate that.
Because you was insecure, you weren't grounded. You're magnetic. So you was actually unbalanced. If you put a magnet on the fridge, if it's not the right magnet, it'll fall off.
Yeah.
That's how the self falls out of itself.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So remember, the top of you is electrical, the bottom is magnetic. So Satan is at the bottom of you. That's why you have to... What the elite do, they give Satan their innocence. Your innocence is the core of your heart. So if you give your heart over to Satan, then you've got no compassion for humanity. Thank you.
So when you were when you were 5... and you've had this massive trauma, and then how did you physically die, by the way? Did you physically die?
I was stood on an helter-skelter. I was playing with my friends one day. It was outside my nana's. And, well, I told you when my mum and dad, they had problems, they was alcoholics, so I used to stay a lot with my nana. My nana used to take me in for the school holidays, because she knew I was getting abused, so she'd just stay with me for 6 weeks while I was off school. And I was only in school very young then. I was only in junior school.
Primary.
Yes, thank you. So then, when this accident that I had, there was 2 boys on the top of the helter-skelter. Remember them dead tall slides? I don't have them no more.
Yeah.
And it had like a hut at the top of it. Right. And I was sat in there, and the 2 boys come in, they were about 14, 15, and they was trying to touch my breast, and I shit myself and stood to the back. Well, then I'm on the outside of the helter-skelter, I had nowhere to go. And, and they went to grab my breast again, and as they grabbed my breast, they were trying to rape me, and they pushed me off the helter-skelter. Not meaning to, though. I had to understand that there's no judgment here.
Right.
I knew that they didn't mean to do it.
Yeah.
But as I was falling off, I froze. My consciousness stuck. So I went like that. And as I'm turning round where I fell, you know how fast you fall. But when you die, time slows down, so there's no time. So I was literally, my body stayed in mid-air for ages so I could sort myself out.
Right.
I felt like I was just stuck like that. And it was just before I hit the floor. I could see the floor, but I'd already come out of my body then. I was already on the floor, and then I could see me on the floor now. Blood was coming from me, my eyes, my nose, my mouth.
Right.
And then, but I was no longer in the body. So I wasn't frightened. I was just looking at the body, and then that's when that voice started talking to me, the man.
So that's when
he said to me, twist yourself over, child. That's what he said to me.
So is that your guide that came in then?
Yeah. He just said, twist yourself over, child. Land on your feet. And I just kept saying, I can't. And he just tutted. Just went. And then I was out of my body.
So in that moment of trauma, or death, if you like, because you was in a coma.
For 8 weeks,
For 8 weeks from that. But then almost like an entity or a guide or whatever, then it has sort of joined you.
Yeah.
And
I was in a different reality though.
Yeah.
It would look like this. But he just kept me there talking to me and showing me, look, you've got to go back.
Oh, so he was talking to you while you were in this coma state?
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
But it was blackness.
Yeah.
But it was a reality. No, that's hard to understand. I know it is. It's like when you see the visions in your head. It's exactly like that.
Well, that's interesting as well, because obviously I still look for answers sometimes. So, like, basically, when Benjamin Drake, my spirit guide, had come to me, these are my words of how I explain, what happened to
Benjamin
me.
Button.
So as Benjamin
I said that for a reason.
Drake come to me, basically what happened is he come through and give me some information and messages and basically told me, look, to sort my life out, basically. But the interesting thing was, when we tried to contact his family, because we were quite excited at the time, we thought it was all, whoa, this fella's coming through to me, giving me messages. He was actually in a coma. He wasn't dead.
That's what I'm saying.
So he was
It's your internal reality. Remember, this reality is attached to your internal reality. You're a dual being. So you're living now simultaneously in your other reality as well. That's when we get deja vu, by the way.
Right.
So, but your other reality is your conscious. This is your unconscious in this one. Okay?
Which would suggest then that it's Maya an illusion.
Yes. This is the illusion. The other side is the real. That's where you're existing.
So that's almost
but
like...
we're all together on the other side.
Can I explain? Do you know what? You're making loads of things come up because, in my own past experiences. So, there was one time where basically I was talking to myself.
But that's what we are doing now, me and you.
But so I remember this vision that I had, and so basically I went and sat on a park bench, and a fella in a suit come up behind me and started having a chat with me and trying to explain to me, but when I turned, it was me.
Of course. Your higher self had sat down next to you.
And I don't tell anyone that, really, but it's just...
No, because you come outside your body all the time. What do you think you do when you sleep? You come out of your body. And your body's the temple. Right, as Jesus said, and you should know this, your temple is your internal dialogue, okay? But on the external part is the illusion. But that's your emotional body speaking, which is in the animal, by the way. The weather system is controlled by our emotions. The more anger we carry towards society, the more the earth's going to have earthquakes. That's why I say, calm the anger down to the society. Calm the anger down, because there'll be more earthquakes.
Because it's frequencies.
Yes.
But then frequencies are agitated by people, by purpose, aren't they? By certain... other energies, if you like, or are we doing that to ourselves?
Yes,
yeah. And so obviously, I understand where you're coming from, but what I'm trying to when I'm trying to explain it would be a case of people's thinking would be like that person over there. People are not sort of
You're
on that level.
You're separating your mind from yourself there, though, because remember, you're attached to them. Your mind doesn't know that their mind is separate. There you go, because it's an energy vortex. The mind is just one energy. People think that they've got their own minds. That's the fake part of us. That's the ego. That is the trauma. Because this energy is just one energy. God and Satan are at the top and the bottom of it. But in the core of it, there's no identification in this energy. And that's that's how you manifest. So you've got to pull from the core of the energy, but not pay it any attention. Because if you're paying it attention, it's going to structure inside you again. The chakras will build up. What the chakras do, they go the opposite way. So it's spinning like that, your chakras are always spinning anti-clockwise. But as soon as you have a thought, it stops. The cog goes and it'll go the opposite way. So you have to understand why you're questioning, your chakras are in confusion. Remember the planets. And each planet has a different planetary awareness. Mars is fire. Mm-hmm. Venus is love. Mm-hmm. But these are your chakras. Venus is your sacral chakra. Mars is your root chakra.
Mm-hmm. Hence red.
The heart, yes. This is why the colours is... Because the frequency is knowledge. Frequency is... The colour of the frequency is the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
It's not our knowledge, though.
No.
And when you think it is, and your ego will go, hey, I'm a teacher.
So if we look at it from that angle as well, so say the planets represent the chakras and everything else, would it be fair to say we are trying to explain to ourselves what we are?
Because we're stars. Every single one of us is a star. That's why there's thousands in the sky, because... Thank you. So the source energy is the centre of the universe, but that's our core. But the suns round it are only how we rebirth ourselves, like our children, shall we say. So the planets are the chakras, but it's like, remember there's only 7 that exist really in 3. 3, 6, 9 is the energy when it's completely cleared. 7 is self knocking on the door of death, really, you know. But if you think of, shall we say, the ego being naught, it's not. But if you think that you're separate from one more person, doesn't matter who it is, even if it's Satan himself, then you are disconnecting from your sacral chakra, because your yellow chakra is the sun. It's your own sun and all the masculine on earth. That's where the power is. That's how it rebuilds itself. It structures itself like that. That's why the masculine side of the brain only knows how to build, but the feminine side, the left, she just lets everything be. But she eats him. She has to eat him. She births him, of course. She's the God, omnipresence, the feminine, because the energy has to renew itself constantly like that. The masculine is just at the back like that, always the sperm chasing it. He chases her. That's why, this is why it's all been removed from the earth now. When I went into the Great Pyramid of Giza, where I did my Reiki attunement, I did my last Reiki attunement in there, by the way.
Wow.
And as soon as I went up to the Queen's Chamber at the top, I just knew. I knew the whole of reality inside me, but I just couldn't bring it out. I just felt it and I just went, oh, we're plugs. That's all we are on earth. Every one of us a plug. You know?
That's amazing.
It's funny you say about the stars as well, because I remember watching a Santos Bonacci thing, and he said we're all stars, and he said because that's why we're called young stars.
Yes, that's why we're at the moment. You know, when we all started waking up in 2013, I was given a globe in my sleep. I woke up with my hand like that, and I could see it. I woke up. This is what I mean when I wake up. As soon as I open my eyes, I know what I've been doing in my other one. Because I'm awake in this one, I've got to be awake in the other one. But I only get the beings that I'm with on the other side. Right. All right. It's telling me to tell you the story. So I wake up one day, and this is when I dreamt that I'm on this big slide, and on the slide it's about that big, but it's massive, like a big slide, and I'm sliding down the slide. And then I could see all the star systems. I was in the star systems, and it was just like all the universe, but I was on the slide, and they'd give me these beings. There was 6 of them, and then as soon as I got down to the slide, they went, she's here at last. And it was like I threw myself into the fire, because my whole body had sat up in bed, and my whole body was on fire. But I kept my eyes closed, because my guide said, keep your eyes closed, because they're going to communicate properly. And they just walked over to me. They didn't have no bodies. They just floated over to me, and there was 6 of them. And they said, she's here the 7th. And they just was telling me about the star constellations, and they were saying, you've spent so much time on Sirius A, but these think you're Sirius B. And now you're being serious. They were telling me, joking with me. But they said, yeah, we're just all from different star constellations. Yeah. I'm a purple, he's a purple, you know, and you're a blue. So you're a blue. You as an earth, this is why you're so biblical, because you are you're like the protector of the earth in a way.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
a guardian, yeah.
Give me that job. I'll take that
job. You. This is why you've got your wings on. You are an angel here, so you're just a gatekeeper. I came in as a gatekeeper, but then, you know, so we're from another planet. You know, we're completely from another planet. But we're all right. We don't mind your planet.
Oh, so let's just quickly go back. Well, not quickly because no rush. But so let's go back. So you've been in this coma. You've come out the coma.
I couldn't speak when I came out the
you
coma.
Couldn't speak.
No, I couldn't. My mum had to wheel me around in a pram for 12 months.
Right.
I couldn't walk then.
So was there any physical injuries from the?
Yeah, my head was that big.
Oh,
I had water on the brain. I've got all the scars at the back. You can actually see the holes.
Oh, right, I got
There's one hole left, and it's bald, and that's where I had my main tube, because I had that much swelling.
So when you fell off the thing, you'd actually had some kind of brain injury. Yeah.
I had a fractured skull in 2 places, but when they fractured the skull, remember the brain, when it's balanced, the energy has to come from the coccyx, but when it goes right through the chakras, it flushes out, shall we say, memories of the self.
Yeah.
It's only memories, but it's past life memories as well. And then you go into the all of Atlantis, so you're going through your own throat, but you're swilling it out with the cells then start reacting. Remember when you're dead, you're not in the body.
Mm-hmm.
Body isn't here, but you're still alive. You know, that's what
It's
orbs
energy.
are. It's still energy, yeah. You don't need the body to communicate, but the body is the temple. The body is how you drive the energy through this earth.
You were fully aware of leaving the body that you still had that intelligence and everything else.
This is why I used to get beat up, you know, because I used to always question people as well as while they were being cruel with each other. So when my mum was being cruel with my dad, I would come down the stairs, even though myself was saying, no, you're going to get beat up now. It was an impulse I had to do. I had to come down and say to my dad, why are you being cruel to yourself? Not to my mum, to himself.
Because you had that awareness.
I'd try and stroke him then, to give him the energy, but it knocked him sick, repelled him.
Do you think that's fear then from...
Yeah, but no, it's not fear, it's actual refusal to own what they're doing to themselves or to other people.
Right.
So they won't face their own compassion.
Right.
They won't forgive themselves.
Right, okay.
Is this as well, because I want to get back to the story in essence, but is this why when people say, sometimes when you don't connect with someone or you see something bad in someone else, really, you're looking in the mirror at yourself?
Well, you're looking at your own sin.
Yeah, you're sort
Humanity's
of...
sin. Remember, humanity's sin isn't the elite. It's us.
It's us.
We're humanity. So how can we blame the elite for bringing out the satanic stuff? That's our stuff. They're actually doing us a favour. So if you think of good and bad like that, the bad is only reminding you of the good, and the good's only reminding you that you can be bad. It's just energy. It's just a back and front.
As we say, without life.
But if you're centred, then you don't see the good and the bad. Nobody's right and wrong then. That's what I mean. You're in your core. When you're in your core, you are a mountain. You're the earth, you're soil. When you're grounded, you're soil. That's why I say, everyone now, get the dirt, get digging in your gardens and leave your nails dirty. When you have a bath, but always leave your nails dirty because it grounds you, okay? That's why we don't like our nails being dirty. We're frightened of grounding, really.
Why do you think there's so many people constantly trying to blame an outside source?
Because they don't want to be evil. They don't know their own evilness. Nobody wants to be evil. They struggle with it. Even satanic struggles.
So when they're sort of trying to blame other people, it's basically they're refusing to accept they're a part of their self.
He's evil.
The duality.
Yeah. But ultimately, I think we all... Well, I believe this as well. I think we have got that duality in us. We've got good and bad in us.
You have.
Because you need both.
You know the minute, like I said to you before, when I had my breakdown.
Yeah.
But that brought me Kundalini. Now my guide kept saying to me, "You're going to have to bring Satan into your bed now." And I used to have this thing where I couldn't move. I had it all my life. I'd be frozen in the bed, and then it'd go. What it wanted was me leaving my body. I was consciously leaving my body.
Right.
And it's called. It's like you think it's demonic, but it's not. It's your own demons. Remember, you've got to leave your demons behind it. You cannot take demonic energy on the other side. It's impossible.
Right.
Okay.
So then you go when you're leaving your body.
So
Right.
if we just go back to now, so obviously you would have been in primary school, 10, 11, before you get to high school. What was your childhood like? Was that difficult? Were the other kids making it difficult for you?
Of course it was difficult. Yeah, of course it was difficult. God. Every time a man come near me, they try and molest me, but that's because of my energy. It was pure. I didn't have a bad thought. And when we're full of trauma, we feed off that.
I presume you had a complete realisation that you were different to
Yeah, because while they were
others.
raping me, I used to be loving them. I know that sounds sick.
No.
Well, the thing is as well, so people listening, who have gone through, say, trauma or, heaven forbid, rape or been abused, almost that's a lot for people to understand. Whether their first thing they'll say is, well,
I'm not owning that.
Yeah,
Not owning
yeah.
it.
I never did that to myself. I
Yes.
never brought that on myself.
They did.
So a lot of people.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's going to trigger people because they will not own their own mind.
No, I know, and I understand it because I know that's a.
I've owned mine.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that happened to me was meant to happen. I
Yeah.
chose it. On the other side, though, because I had that much guilt. Remember, I was shown I'd been Hitler. Shown I'd been all the evilness on the earth. It showed me I was that. And I could not handle that at the time. I thought, I've never had a bad bone. I've never had a bad thought. How can I be Hitler? How can I be evil? It was showing me I had to own out humanity's sin as my own. And then it showed me all I was an undertaker to help people own their own sin, help people own their own hurt, help people own their own evilness. But I've got to tell them that that's what they are.
But people own it.
You've got to forgive yourself for
That's
these
it,
things.
yeah. But that allows you to ascend then anyway, doesn't it?
Yes.
Because
As soon as you forgive, the elite. As soon as you forgive Satan, as soon as you forgive all these evil things that are happening on the earth, then you will ascend into your heart, and then you'll be part of the brigade that are helping. Okay.
Do you think when people start to own their truth or own, if I'm trying to put it in layman's terms for people to understand, so if you looked at the world, if you like, from a point of, not as in what's happening out there, but for a point as everything what's happening is a reflection of your inner feelings, your inner energy, your everything what's happening on the external is you internal.
Yes, what's happening in the world at the moment is the turmoil that humanity's in right now, but it's only self-recognition.
Yeah.
Okay? Remember, this is an illusion, so what you're doing on the other side, we've already cleared it. But now that's the new earth, right? Inside us. That's earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But she's got a different reality to the one she's there. Mm-hmm. So the old earth is what we're seeing, breaking apart. That's why in 2013, as a lot of people went in the hearts, then you've seen the reality change. Because the earth has 50%, all right? That's the water and air. Mm-hmm. The awareness of air is the islands, is the lava, all right? But the water is feminine, but her masculine is the fire. You know, in the core of the earth, that's her masculine. That's why I say when you're drilling into the earth, you're only releasing more masculine out into the reality, which will structure it as satanic. The masculine satanic. Your masculine satanic, my masculine satanic, but my feminine is God. Because she's God. This is, every planet is, there's only 7 gods that exist, and that's the planets. But that's our internal dialogue, our internal chakras.
When you talk about the new earth, if you like, is that what you would class as when people, because there's a lot of talk at the moment, especially in the spiritual circles, if you like, about ascension?
Yes. But it's the opposite way of what people think. Ascension is only when you go inside and raise your own bile. It's actually like poison. It's what Santa Claus is all about.
That's right.
Yeah, the raising of the Christmas.
Remember it, right. Our bitterness is in our satanicness, but it's actually a fluid that's in our coccyx. Remember, we was evolved from monkeys. And people will say, oh, we didn't because monkeys are still here. That shows us how we're refusing to own the evolution, the change. It already happened thousands of years ago. But we've kept certain individuals, strong entities that are here from these other planets, have kept us in this illusion. Mm-hmm. So we more or less come here to do our sin. But they keep in the vibration of the earth. This is why all the earths are interlinked, by the way. They're not in the air. They're actually at the side. So Antarctica has Mars next to her. Mm-hmm. You can actually sail to it. They've not. The original maps have been destroyed. You'll find them. It's all the unearthing that's coming out. The Vatican's going to collapse, and you'll see these maps with your own eyes. They'll be on there, and that's when the Antichrist of us rises. Right? There's two realities in play. That's what people don't understand. They want to see the evil reality. No, both of them are simultaneously interlinking now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Deep.
Very deep.
So basically the end of primary school and also high school, this is very traumatic still, very difficult period for you growing up.
Yes, well, I was put to sleep, but that's why I couldn't walk. I was literally put in my body, and I was just in my mind then. It was so traumatic because I used to think, I am a demon now. I used to think that about myself. I am a demon now. And because I knew I was in hell then when I come back. But it was like, all right, I'm in purgatory. But I'm here to release myself from this.
But did you have these feelings or know this stuff when you were a kid?
Yeah, but I didn't know how to explain it. Remember, when I had my accident, it's like I'd been removed. So I couldn't walk. My mum had me in a pram. I couldn't really speak. I used to go trying to get it out. It was like it froze inside me.
Yeah.
But I couldn't bring it out.
Yeah. But the outside world, obviously, when you were going through that,
I never used to think when I was a child. I never thought. I had no. You know when my mind's now there and you can hear voices. When I was a child, I just used to hear, and I still hear it now. But that's my crown. The doctors call it titanus. Titanus doesn't exist. It means when you're balancing your eardrums it means when both your eardrums have brought the energy up as one. So your eardrums then pop, and then you don't really need to hear. You don't really need to see. Because your internal dialogues then is that's the reality.
From a doctor's point of view or anything else, would have a lot of people said, "Oh, Linda's not being herself because of the trauma you'd gone through"?
Of course,
is that what
the
they would?
excuse.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Because what I'm trying to do.
And weirdly enough, and this is really good, One of my eyes seeing just colour and the other eye just seeing black and white.
Right.
It was showing me the different realities. Because on the back of us, it's black and white. On this one, it's all colour. Now work it again. Oh no, on the back of us, it's all colour, and on the inside, it's black and white. Thank you. It's just giving me different ways to explain it.
Yeah. So, like, because what I'm trying to sort of, so the listeners can grasp, if you like. So we've got like two dualities going on, because you would have had this inner feelings, these inner emotions, and this stuff, what's going on in your head and feelings, whatever. But on the outside world, there'll be people who are sort of coming to their own conclusions and saying judgments and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, that's just because they're just refusing to go inside and close their eyes. You know, the blind man doesn't question anything, you know?
Yeah. No,
Can I ask, when that time then, so you obviously had a guide come, and from that moment you left your body, and that guide has stayed with you ever since. You know, you have 3 guides. Was it only the one guide at that time?
Yeah.
So they
Just
came later?
The other 2 came later, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And were you able to kind of sort of understand what was your inner dialogue to the guide? How do you understand what the guide's saying?
This is, well, because I hear his voice.
You hear
But
the voice?
Yeah, it's massive though. It's booming. He just, he was the one that, when I was turning, that's what I mean, when I was falling off the Helter Skelter, he was like, child, you know, he's really a strong voice.
Right, powerful voice.
But when you was a kid, did you tell anybody else that you were hearing that voice?
I used to. I told my mum. As soon as I could start talking, I remember coming out of the hospital. These are all my memories now, because all my memory, don't have memories to my past, don't remember nothing. Yeah. I have no short-term memory, but they balance my brain. Your short-term memory is actually fake, okay? It is just trauma. You don't have memory. We only have memory when we're in trauma.
Yeah.
So when you're not in trauma, there's no memory there. You're just at peace.
Okay. But so if, obviously, you just said you mentioned it to your mom. What did Mom say at this point? When
they got rid of me for a while.
That's what I'm saying. Because this is what I'm saying. So other people.
My mum was really satanic. My mum and dad were really satanic. I remember coming downstairs once. I've never told anyone this. I don't really want to tell it. It's saying to me, "You got to." Right. I'm sweating now. So. I remember coming down the stairs when I was about 7, and I went into the living room, and they had a tent in the living room, my parents, and they was doing bad things in that tent. So they used to do bad things. I'm not going to say what they did, but they used to do bad things, like sacrifice certain things to get power, shall we say. Okay. So and I thought I dreamt that. Many years I thought I dreamt that, but it didn't.
So was your parents very much into
my mum used to
rituals?
Yeah, my mum used to get me out of bed to bring people through. My mum was like a spiritualist, you see.
Oh, right.
So she used to do the Ouija board, but she couldn't get communication unless I was doing it.
Did she know your power then?
She didn't know it, but it was there. She didn't recognise it. She just used to get me out of bed and say, "It's good when you do it," because as soon as I used to touch the table, it'd all come in.
Oh, wow.
It literally, seriously, as soon as I touched the table, but then I'd take them back upstairs, and it was all evil entities I used to take upstairs with me, and they'd be saying all horrible things to me.
Gosh.
But that's
sexual though.
And that would be very scary.
Well, it wasn't scary because my guide would say, "It's all right, Linda, I'll take you." And he just used to move me from my body. He actually used to show me an opening above my head, and I close my eyes and then I crawl in it and just I lie there and fall asleep. And they was doing whatever they did to me. Remember, it's a temple, it's a body. You can pull yourself out of it with your mind. Of course you can. It's not real.
Wow.
So I crawled in that space a lot when I was a child.
Yeah.
And then I used to go outside the next day and cleanse myself, and they used to say, "Okay, go to the walk on your own," and they give me a stick, an imaginary stick, and I felt like I was a shepherd. I always was a shepherd. I used to pretend I was a shepherd when I was a kid. So I'd have my stake, and they said they just walk with you, and I'd walk for miles and miles on my own when I was a kid, because I never had no friends when I was a kid. I didn't have friends till I was about 14 when I went to high school. I was very lonely, but I had him in my head all the time, so I wasn't that lonely. He used to play with me and stuff like that. We do this, we do that. So I play on my own a lot. He even used to bring butterflies to me and everything, fly around my head, and nobody's seen this. He used to say, "Don't tell people about this." So I'd think about it, and all the butterflies would come around me. The birds still do it now. Birds, when I walk outside, the birds will land on my head and my arm and everything because I feed them. People will say it's because you feed them. They don't understand.
No, it's
because I freed myself.
Frequency.
I freed my mind. So that's what birds show us, our freedom. Remember, they soar to the top of this sky. So that is our freedom. That's our cellular body, you know, the birds. So, I mean, they're connected to our cellular body.
So when you're at high school, then you started making friends then, right? Were they aware?
I just used to be the clown then.
Did you? You used to play up a bit to fit in?
Oh my God. Well, I have to do it now. That's how I fit in with people. I just make them laugh.
Yeah.
Because while we're laughing, there's no ego.
Yeah.
It's like when you have an orgasm, it's exactly the same energy. One comes in, one comes out. So an orgasm is you coming outside of yourself, but a laughter is when you're going inside yourself.
And it's funny because a lot of people who go through trauma or try to wear a mask use comedy or make jokes of themselves, or it's a way of dealing with it.
I did it all through my teenage life.
This is what I'm saying. When we're awake inside, when we're awake on the other side, then you're awake on here really. What you're doing here is you're just playing. So then we'll have the clown, because the self is the clown. That's it. The self is the clown. You're just there playing that you're separate from other people because you can't be.
Okay. So when we sort of is there any stories before we lost during them school years, high school years? Is there any significant stories?
Yeah, I used to get beat up. Oh my God. This is what I mean. The teachers hated me. All my friends knew this, all the what I went to school with. We were talking about it the other week. One of my friends said, "Hey, do you remember when that teacher kicked you down the stairs?" I said, "I know."
Kicked you
Do you know why did she do that? Yeah, I was sat on the stairs and she come behind me and just went bang with her foot and I fell down the stairs. And she did it. This is what I mean about energy. We'll just reach out and attack you. Because she was obviously going through shit. And I was the one that could take it. You're not given... Listen, if you've had trauma in this life, you're able to handle it. Don't moan and be the victim, because everything that's happening to you is for your own benefit.
Yeah.
And that's a good way of looking at things. And a lot of people do play the victim, but if they could turn it on its head.
Well, remember what victim mentality? It's just the ego refusing to let go of its toys.
Right.
That's anger. I want to be real. I want to be yourself. Well, you're not. Take it, or else deal with it.
That's interesting.
Have you got what do you want to ask there, Chris?
Well, so from your friendship, any love life around that time? Because obviously through teenage life, we
I was
all
told when I was little that I'm not here to find a partner. That's weird, isn't it? And every time I've tried to, it's always fall apart. Every time I find to buy a job, it's fell apart. You're not here to. If you're here to find a partner or your twin flame, then you're still not holding yourself as one. So I can't have a partner. There's no one on this earth that could ever understand me. But I'm making love to myself now, so that's all you're here to do.
Yeah, no. That's...
But that doesn't stop you enjoying earthly pleasures, if you like.
Oh my God, I've got me bullet. You know what turns us on? Our own mind. Nobody else can turn us on. We play games with ourselves. I'm filthy inside my mind. So when I'm masturbating, no one can make me come like that. I leave my body. I literally leave my body when I have an orgasm. And then it takes me ages to come back in it. Imagine me having sex with someone, they couldn't do that to me.
We'd feel like such a failure.
It's like eating an hamburger when you can have steak, you know what I mean?
Oh, boy. I'm glad I never met you, Linda. I'd feel like such a failure. Yeah, I'd be like,
this is what I mean.
God.
It's like when I meet a man, when I have had sex with a man, they cannot penetrate me. I've got to get on top.
Yeah.
I can't have an orgasm otherwise.
And
this is what power does.
My missus has that problem now. God.
This is what I'm saying about the feminine and the masculine, how it works. It's the feminine that rides, not the masculine.
Oh, quality. So what did early, like late teen years, but early like sort of working years after school? Yeah. What sort of did this world? What path did it take you on? What did you find interesting?
I didn't have a path. This is what I mean about your destiny. There's no path. Once you accept it, then all the paths are in your nervous... Everyone goes on about the paths, but it's not. That's your nervous system. It's your nervous system, that. So you're always on this path.
Yeah.
But this path is everywhere. It's in every tree. Imagine how many paths you've got to go down. These are the rabbit holes that people think they're in. But it's not. It's your own mind, Alice in Wonderland.
So what rabbit holes...
You've got to eat your own poison. That's what she does in the film. You know, the poison she eats, that's acid. So acid, when you're tripping, is when you've rose your kundalini. So that's why plants make you trip. But you're not, you've gone in your own crown.
Right.
So what paths or rabbit holes did you go down, like in your late teens, early 20s?
I didn't. I just was
Just flow.
a sponge, yeah.
Have you really? Is that...
I've just been a sponge, yeah, that's it.
Did you find yourself sort of...
Oh, well, I went down the
travelling
prostitution. Listen, when I was 16, I met my friend. No, when I was about... How old was that when I moved in with Bert? About 19, yeah. But I'd already started prostitution then. I was already selling myself because then I got on crack.
And you decided to do that, though? No one forced you into that?
No, well, yeah, I was forced into it.
Oh, was you?
But this is what I mean, you go down these paths. But no one forced me, really. I had to go down these paths. This is what I mean, no one can force you on this earth. Everything you do is consciously done, even though you think it's not, but it is. So on the other side, you're already pushing yourself into these things. Remember, on the other side of us, is us going, do it, get all that done. Because this is the new earth that's going to be. Remember, it's humanity's sin. But it's worked its way right through. So what you've got to do with reality, it's like a black hole. That's what every eye is, every pupil. When you die, it opens back up and takes you back in. Then you go back in the body. Do you understand that?
A little bit.
You do, don't you? No,
It's
you do.
just like...
You're getting it. You're getting it. So the black holes that they talk about in the universe that's us. That's our awareness. That's our energy. That's what we are. So... But when you have an awakening, the dual part of you comes right the way through, so the black hole turns in on itself, and then there's another reality born from your heart. Your heart has 7 realities in there at the moment.
Yeah.
And all you do is pull another reality out. That's why when I had my breakdown, I didn't see this reality. All I could see, it was really weird when I looked up in the sky when I was in the hospital. The clouds moved out of the way, and then all I could see was these crystal buildings and stuff, because it was like I was tripping, but I hadn't raised my kundalini naturally. I didn't need acid for it then. I just raised it properly. It's like I'd had 10 acid tabs. So then I could see everyone. I could see the demonic energy, and what was important, I could see black in their eyes.
Yeah.
It's like the black hole had split. It had split. So if you see black in the white of a person, it means they're really contaminated. It means they're satanic to the core.
Really?
Because the black hole's moved away, the energy's moved away from the self.
Oh, wow.
Remember, they're still connected to it. You've got a silver thread at the top of your head, and it connects you to your ashtic files.
Yeah.
So when I rose my kundalini, I was meditating. It told me to rock and raise my kundalini, and all of a sudden, it was like I was a face. You know the Matrix face where he goes and he's... It's like, you know that the machines when you press your hand in it and the shape goes in?
Yeah.
That's ourself.
Yeah.
So it's showing me as I just popped myself in this reality, and it's showing me how past works. So the future was in front of me, and the back, and the past was at the back of me, and I was literally just doing that, looking in and looking out. So it said, now you can create different realities. So I just used to imagine then, and I was somewhere else. Imagination is key here. It's your key. It's your key to create another reality, but you have to imagine it so.
Mm-hmm. And again, I suppose in a way, that's
what I'm saying to you at the moment. Please don't say it's negative with the satanic. Don't even say it on this platform.
No.
No, I'm saying today, if it's clear, there's no satanic energy that can come in. So you control it with your mind. Your mind's like a steering wheel, you see. You pull your past and your future through, but you're pulling God and Satan through as well. Because remember, when you die, Satan doesn't exist, and neither does God. That's going to hurt a lot of people who are praying to these things. Because when you die, there's nothing there. It's just blackness. But you're so aware and crystal clear. Now, people will understand this when they take DMT, because I've took DMT. You know, the frog? Because it just removes your ego, and you can just see it then. You just smell, and you're really fast into this consciousness. But you are the awareness of the consciousness. It's hard to explain if you've not been there and touched it. Then you touch God then. Meaning you touch your own core. And the power that you held then, you won't need to pray to a God then. You'll understand. God was the energy, and this omnipresence that God is, this earth, then they give you the power. You are the creator. So the creation part is the satanic part in a way.
So in a way, what's happening in this, if we're classing as reality, whatever you want to class it as, is we're just projecting. Everything we see and feel and touch and everything else is just a projection of our...
Yeah, because you're not really born here. This is what I mean. You're still in the womb, really, but you're in the womb of yourself, you know? And then when you try to question it, then it builds structure. So the mind is more or less just That was the truth. So the mind is just more or less, shall we say, a matter builder. Because when you have thought, then the matter in your brain changes. When you think about thought, the matter in your brain shrinks, so neurons will collapse. But when you think a positive thought, another neuron opens. You've got the capacity to use 100% of the brain, but if you did, then you'd leave the body, because then you'd have to stop thinking. Now that thought works like energy, but the thought comes from the gut. It'll tell you it's an energy force on its own. Remember, water has a frequency. Wind has a frequency, a rock has frequency, but our mind, it works the opposite way. That builds them structures of them things. That's why I say, if you think that something's bad, then you'll build structure inside you. Then another cell will start fusing. The mitosis will start happening.
And when you say imagination's key, because I firmly believe it, I think that, in terms of a general individual that's in the Western world, for example, that is educated, indoctrinated, and everything else, you lose that inner child. That child is.
You just said something so important there, Anthony.
Yeah.
You don't understand what you've just said. It just froze inside me. You know why? From 0 to 3, you're an empty canvas. You're God.
Yeah.
Why do you think children talk like that? I remember watching an interview once, and it was a child, and they had cameras. It was an American household. The newborn baby was in the pram, in the cot, and the baby raised itself, a toddler, and it's a 2-year-old boy, and he's whispering to the baby, "Please remind me where I'm from. I forgot." Because by the age of 3, you forget. So this is the great unforgetting, in a way, what's happening. We're forgetting our sin, because we're no longer sin. Nothing here is sinful. Okay.
So let's just go back to, you went through a period of prostitution.
Yeah. I sold me temple.
So just explain that to us.
That's God. That's what Jesus, when he wipes everything out. Do not contaminate your temple. Do not eat meat in this temple.
But
Meaning you've lowered your density. Because you're separate. Why are you eating yourself?
But that would have been your way in this physical realm, if you like, if that's how people are going to perceive it, of getting by.
Yes.
Basically, putting food on your table,
That's
putting
all that
some money
energy
in
is.
your pocket.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know people obviously probably frown upon maybe something like prostitution, but from your point of view, was it good? Was it enjoyable? Was it the worst thing you could have ever done? It was just survival.
Yeah. Survival.
Yeah.
I've survived. This is what I mean. You're here to survive. You're not here to work. You're here to survive. And if you're not understanding how to survive, then you're not thriving. Survival is interlinked with thriving. So if you think you've got to survive, then you won't thrive. Now I know I don't need to survive anymore. I manifest. I'm thriving now.
That's interesting as well.
Yeah, because it's energy. All I have to do is meditate. If I want more energy, I meditate. I ground myself.
So during the period, excuse me, during these, how many years would you say that went on for?
What, my prostitution?
Yeah.
From the age of, from the age of 17 to the age of,
Excuse me.
when I had my son. My son was, that's why I called him Raphael, because he released me from my own sin.
But was your son from a relationship of someone you loved? Or was
No,
it
God, no. An old man. It was Jimmy, my friend.
Oh, so you got pregnant from...
An old man, yeah.
And during this period of the prostitution, is this where did you get into drugs as well?
Yeah, I was a crackhead.
Or did you take crack?
Yeah.
And so was you
Crack
addicted?
for about 5 years, yeah.
So completely...
I was living on the street at one point.
Right. Okay. I'm trying to what's called as well, so like...
Sleeping on people's couches and, And
I'm only doing this as well, obviously, from a listener's podcast, really. That's why I'm asking these questions. Okay. So, because obviously people will be listening, they'll be like, whoa, this like from the spiritual point of view and the self, and this is really deep, and but then other people will be saying, well, yeah, but I mean, she had all this trauma, and then she was a prostitute, and then she took drugs, and as this not just all took its toll. Now I know you can say, but we're doing this to ourselves.
You're doing it again. You're separating mind from matter.
I know, but this is what I'm trying to explain, because people
this is what I mean.
listening
They will understand it. The more that you do these podcasts, if you're going to try and think of the people that are on the other end of the screen, you're going to bring confused energy in. Right. They will resonate with what they're meant to do. Don't try to explain to them that audience too much.
Okay, that's okay.
That makes sense. Yeah.
No, I'll bear that in mind. I just think
Please ask me these questions, because this is what we do. You know, we're all all Earth is a dome, okay? She shows me like we're just learning. This when the people say it's a school, she's actually right, but they're all schools. Every planet's a school, okay? There's only man that's enslaved this planet. They put ice around it. You know the ice on the planet? It was not originally there. That's our mindsets. How we froze our mindsets.
Manifested.
Yeah, because it's just energy. If you look in the sky, that's water, but it's just it's energy. It's all water is energy. So the more water that comes on the earth, it's when we're letting go. But the more that the volcanoes go off, it's the more we're holding on to our identities. Remember, she is us. And the more that we think that our names and build structure with our names, meaning, you've got my name wrong, then that's judgment, it's projection. You're meant to be like the earth and just like a tree. Did you know they cut down our trees thousands of years ago?
I've looked into
our trees. There was the first tree on Earth was a giant tree, and it went right into the heavens. So it brought the electricity down into the earth.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying the more trees you chop down to build nice tables for yourself,
Yeah.
that the more the earth's going to be unbalanced, because then your lungs will be affected. You'll smoke more then, because it's paper, it's trees. As you're smoking the earth, you're going to cough her up again.
You could just grow hemp instead.
This is what I mean. Our original. When he was on the earth before, he knew this because he was one of the builders and the bakers. So you have to understand, you have to leave the earth to restructure. The more that this is why the animals are getting extinct, because we're separating ourselves from our emotions.
This is like Noah's Ark then.
That's all you are. Your Noah's Ark, by the way, is your coccyx. Your Noah's Ark is how you're letting it flow through you.
I fell down the stairs and snapped mine off. How did you explain that?
Well, that's balance. It means you want balance. I listened to what I did. I listened to what I did when I had my breakdown and bled that, because this is a good story. Right. I had a dream, 2012. I had a dream. It said, you're going to die now. I went, I'm going to die. And it felt really real. My guide said, you're going to die. Get all the money out of the bank. Take your friends on a massive big holiday, because it's the last time you're going to really be partying with them. I said, all right. So I booked a villa, and I took all my friends away. I paid for them all, every single one of them. So we all went away. Now I went running out, dead excited as soon as we got there to Gran Canaria, and I jumped into the pool. Now I didn't know there was only that much water in, because it looked like it was full to me. Now I landed on the bottom and it hit me coccyx. The pain went through my full body. As my friend, I lay on the side, I was going, but it didn't. It balanced me. So all on the holiday was really conscious, because your coccyx sets it in, and then the energy has to rise up. Why do you think they eat a baby's bum?
And do you know what? It's funny how obviously now whether it was because I was unbalanced or imbalanced, because what happened is I was going through a period in my life where I was I'd gone from one job to another. I just really didn't know where I wanted to be, if you like. And I took this job at the time. And then for me, I look back at it now, it's almost like the universe was giving me a slap saying, you're not doing that.
You get reality slaps like that.
Yeah, so I fell down the stairs, broke my back, and then suddenly I couldn't do that job anymore.
Exactly, because you was in the wrong job. You're not meant to come here and do a job. This is your job.
But then that took me on the whole manifestation and law of attraction path, and that's when miracles started to happen in my life.
Exactly, because you let go.
It's awareness. Yeah, letting go.
It's interesting, because I hope we'll talk more about manifestation and law of attraction, because for me, even though I know, like if I speak to my work lads now, they'll say to me, yeah, but Kev, you used to always work hard and everything, and I'm not saying I didn't, I did, but I knew there was a difference. I used to do all my manifestation stuff.
What do you mean you used to work hard? Just explain that to me.
Right.
Why does everyone not work hard and everyone... What do you think work is?
Well, no, what I'm trying to say is people would say oh, but Kev, you used to go out and do I don't know, say 14-hour days and all this kind of stuff. But I never really...
That was you being unconscious.
Probably.
Exactly. You was actually doing them things because you didn't want to face yourself.
But also, the thing is, why I was doing this work, in my mind, I was doing the manifestation stuff. Like I realised, look, I was just letting things flow through me, asking for stuff and letting it flow. If you think you need
to build a church, let me explain what Self does. Self will build a church to go and praying, because it doesn't want to go in its own heart, okay? So the more you think you've got to be doing, like running to the gym, running a marathon, climbing a mountain, it's you actually refusing to own yourself. Because you're thinking that'll give you pleasure, or you're thinking that'll give you power, or you're thinking, what? that you're being strong because you can climb that mountain. You're meant to lie at the mountain's feet and just love the mountain.
Right.
Because then you're not being yourself. The more you try to do things, the more the self goes stronger, but then the energy goes weaker. You need to do it more and more then. Oh, I'm not looking good. The ego then builds identity. You don't need to train. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to drink the fresh water. You don't need to feed the fruits. You don't need to, all you need to do is set the mindset and bring the energy through. And then the fruits will be all around you.
And that's intention, though.
Yes.
So do you think that's what the monks are doing?
Yes. Why do you think we have to go and feed a monk and they can't get their own food? They've already give their innocence to everyone.
And people are just bringing it to
I told you
them.
before how your vulnerability works. Yeah. If you're not allowing someone to sit at your feet and you give, let's say, right, massage me, make me feel good, give me, then you're not being real. Because you're not here to give. Then you're unbalanced because the feeding system is one way. You've got to be vulnerable and be like a baby again. You know, meaning let people feed you.
Mm-hmm. But if we go back to then, like, everything is us, if you like. So basically, let's just say the monks. So is that just another part of us?
Yes.
That's the innocent part of us.
No, that's you without your identity.
That's
me
why
they shave their heads. You know your hair is, shall we say, electricity. But when you are a baby, you can't have hair because you've not got an identity. Hair is identification only for the self. That's why we all have different hair. That's why I love mine all different colours.
I would just love
I'm always changing it.
I'd just love to have some.
Well, it's showing you your wisdom.
Yeah, there's no wisdom here.
This is where Samson and Delilah come into play, okay? You know the Achilles heels?
Yeah.
It's you because you wanted to fight, you know? It's all mythology done. If you just give in and just give yourself over.
Again, it's about letting go and letting the flow and just trusting your journey.
Yeah. If I was explaining it as in, like, I don't know, to people listening, so let's just hear me out here now. So let's just say,
you're scared of saying it. Hear me out.
Just hear me out. So let's say we just took the human body, if you like, and then we cut it all into these tiny little bits, like we draw it like a grid on it.
Yeah.
And then in this little grid here, for people watching, I'm doing pictures on Linda's. So like the monks are here, but the devil's here.
No, the devil's here.
Okay, well the devil's here. Whenever. I wasn't actually.
They are. No, because it's really important. The devil's here, okay, where your roots, how you're feeding everyone. Yeah. The monks are here, where you've not got any identity, so you're not your name. Yeah. And then here is how you speak the devil through or the God. Yeah. But you speak from your heart. If you're speaking from society, then you're the devil. But if you speak from your heart, then you're speaking through everyone. This is how energy works. But when you get to your throat, you're the I am. And then your crown opens and then you're just all the animals, all the energy.
Because what I was trying to explain is, what I was trying to take in was like all these different people in society, if you like, good people, bad people, monks, religious,
Christians,
whatever. But then they're all a little bit of you. They
separated themselves from the
core. But if you put them all back together, they're everything.
Just be one energy, yeah. So then you are a monk, you are an Hindu, I'm a Muslim. These are just structures that you're trying to, shall we say, serve a God to. Yeah. But you're not. All you're doing is you're refusing again to own the whole energy of what you are.
So when we look at, like, I don't know, people bringing out different religions and everything else, is that sort of yourself trying to identify as something?
Yes. Yes.
You're sort of just trying to separate the self.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I do all this like that. I just thought I'd...
You know what he's just done? He's just spoken. He's just got a light bulb moment. Said, that's what I'm doing, innit? Yes. That's it. It's just it. But this is what I'm saying, the newborn baby doesn't say, I want to be fed. It screams. That's the self.
Yeah. Our last guest had a baby, actually. She got a boob out, didn't she, and just fed it while we...
That's what I'm saying, you've got to do that.
You've just got to feed it,
But that's what I'm saying. If a toddler says to you, if it's got a plastic phone and it hands you the phone, you fucking speak on that phone.
You do.
Hello, it's me. You know what I mean? Because the innocence is more powerful, the powerfulest energy on earth. The newborn baby is God. And then it goes unconscious as we program it. From 0 to 3, you're a clean slate. After 3, your identity just starts to build structure. By 7, you're fully programmed.
But isn't the challenge then to find that innocence again?
Yes.
That's the challenge. That's part of the game.
That's the only thing in the game that makes sense. Once you feel the innocence of yourself, then you'll understand the satanicness in society.
So what is if I had to ask you to pinpoint just one thing, what would you say or would you think people's purpose of this experience is to reach because not everybody's here for enlightenment.
We're building a new planet. There's going to be 8. We're building a new school. This is the new Earth.
The new Earth.
Yeah. We're bringing the old Earth through the new Earth. But that's us.
Right.
Remember, we are planets.
So is that consciousness creating that?
Yeah. You're creating more consciousness at the moment.
Yeah,
that's what's
because
happening.
Consciousness is constantly expanding.
Well, it's just
never
energy.
ending.
Energy, it can't end. But it pulls its core. That's what comets... When we get a comet hitting here, it's when we've reached a peak. There you go. When we've had a humanity shift. A comet will appear, and that's what they're trying to bring in now. That's why I'm warning. That's why I'm here. I'm only a warning here today.
I know.
The comet will come if you don't get in your hearts quickly, because this shift it happened in 2000. People are thinking it's coming. Oh my God, this is just the end. This is the middle of it.
But isn't that vibration then? It's about getting on a certain level of vibration.
If you're not on the vibration of Earth at the moment, the new Earth, then you will be the ones that will witness the comet.
So this is really interesting because this was on.
You will have the flood.
This is one of my final questions, but this has brought this in now, which is quite. Now you might be aware of. There's a channel called Archaics on YouTube. Anyway, this guy.
I don't watch anything.
Right, this guy's really intelligent bloke. I don't know much about him apart from that he was in jail or was in prison for like 20 odd years or something, and he basically had access to these old books and he educated himself, if you like, and he's come out with a YouTube channel and he's telling people about this what's called a phoenix phenomenon, and it's where the phoenix rises every 138 years and then there's a flood.
Well, that's just the core of the planets, okay? The core of the planets reach a peak, all right? They reach a heat. They reach a certain heat, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But that is when they all line up.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only when humanity reaches peaks of... Remember, evolution happens that way.
Mm-hmm.
So when evolution is at a spark, a sun will die off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
An energy point will die off, but a bigger energy point becomes. Because all we are is black holes and we work through ourselves.
Yeah.
So every evolution, 1980, the 90s, the 18s, the 60s, the 100s, they don't really exist.
Mm-hmm.
When I meditate, I can still go back to Nostradamus and speak to him.
Yeah.
Because the past never dies and the future never really realizes.
Yeah. But it's quite interesting what you said though. It's because this person, it is fascinating. I love watching stuff like this. And he said in 2040, this is when this happens. But you have to be on a certain vibration.
You have. That's what I said.
You will get hit.
Right. In 2300, in 2030.
2030.
Yeah. In that day is when there's nothing else. Do you understand that? There's nothing else that I can't see from after that.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning we've got nowhere then. Radiation peaks on Earth then.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only for the people who are not in the heart.
It's the vibration again.
Because they've got to lose the electricity then. Do you understand what's happening with our planet?
Mm-hmm.
More pure electricity. That's because we're holding our own knowledge in our hands now, like that. So burning ourselves out.
So what happens to people after 2030?
Why are you thinking of that?
I'm just trying to...
It's not real, remember that. But if they stay here and they're still in fear, then they will see their own fear. All you see now is the fear on the outside here.
So, would that be...
Or unless you're in your heart. So then I see, like at the moment I look at you two, I can just see you confused, but he's just like, So I can see confusion on my left, which is the feminine. The only thing on the earth at the moment that we need to concentrate on is bringing the feminine through. Because he's been confused. The masculine has been that confused that he thought that he owned the earth, but he doesn't. The feminine owns this earth. She owns all of it. There you go.
The rise of the feminine.
Huh?
The rise.
You've just got to rise your own feminine. And then you don't see the bad earth. You've worked through your own sin then.
Do you think that's why we're getting a lot of men lately who think they're women?
Yes. I told you, John, No, listen, it's a really good point, that, thank
Because you were saying something.
The androgynous part that's happening now in society is because there's so many people now risen the feminine that the feminine now is taking over. So she will turn everyone feminine first.
Right.
This is why they're giving you the vaccine, by the way, because they want you to hurry up and do it. They don't want us But it's a conscious shift that's happening. It's not just the satanic part of it. We've all got to get in our hearts, or else the earth then twists and she'll flood us all off. Because we're changing the structure of her. And she can't have that. That's why that's why she actually created a new version of herself, because they're destroying this one. It's reached to the point now where they can't save this. So the illusion is...
She's decided effectively. She's decided
yes.
to move.
Yep. Well, she just created another version of herself, so that's why we have to get in our heart, and we're on the new earth then. But if we're not on the new earth, then we just see the root of it, the old structure. I
was saying to Linda before, and I was saying, whilst I'm growing, because I said at first, whilst I was in ignorance, so you take it as you want, but it's like I never thought of the earth being
you can't be ignorant. Do you know you can't be ignorant? It's an impossibility.
No, I mean, I'm just saying.
But I'm just saying, we can't, there's no ignorance on this earth. The ignorance is, this is what I mean about words, the spells.
Spells, yeah, I agree with you. I agree. But what I was saying
when
is
you
the
say
earth
that,
is a soul, it's a living being.
It is a living being, but that's the centre of us, that's our heart. That's why when they say the only intelligence about us is when that's the first organ that's born in the body, the heart. The source comes through that way, but then source don't fully come through. When I took ayahuasca, when I took ayahuasca the first time, she come through 2 weeks before. I started dreaming and hearing these voices. She kept going, "Hi, child." What? What's going on? But she was actually already coming for me, ready for me when I went to Peru. And then I found this book, and all of a sudden I was in Peru in a week.
Wow.
I read this book called The I Am, and it was by Stephen Shaw. And he pretended he was a big... I ripped him to shreds on that holiday. Only because I was told to. Because he made us all take ayahuasca, and then he copped for the woman that was in my room, and he went shagging her while I was all on ayahuasca. Now that's forbidden. So the energy said to me, turn me into a demon. Get him told! This is pure! And I went like...
It's a sacred time to do.
So I was on ayahuasca, but it was like I was having an exorcism. So I walked right up to him and I said, "You fucking bastard." And he went, "What?" I went, "You!" Because he was like that to me. I love you. And taking me money. He was actually told me to give him money. So I was giving him money and I was going, "You fucking bastard. You fucking bastard." He's going, "It's all right, Linda, you're getting it all out." He wrote a book about me called The Star Child, and then fucking blocked me on the internet making money off me.
Really? Yeah.
Yep. So when the ayahuasca come through, they all sat by and they were saying, "Who are you? Why are you now?" Because they all went on my energy. And I said, "I am a child, I'm a baby." And all of a sudden I pissed myself and shit myself, and I would just lay there like that shaking. And then the shaman come and sat down next to me. But he was speaking in Spanish, but it was my dad's voice in my head. No. And he was saying, "I'm your dad. And it's me that's hurt you, I'm so sorry." And I was like, and then my guide come in and said, "Just get it out. And I just started pissing, and I was just like on the floor shaking. And it all come from me. I felt dead clean then. Purge. And then I went in, purge, and then I went in the bathroom to clean myself up. They all followed me, the shamans. They took my pants off, my knickers, and gave me this pair of white leggings on. But on the leggings, it was all gods on them. So I'd given me gift there. And then I looked in the mirror and I was the oldest man I've ever seen. And I said, "Who am I? Oh, who am I?" Started crying, and it just said, "You God." It's like, "Oh, no, I'm not God." Started going crazy. And then they all come, and then it all collapsed. I collapsed the whole thing. Then one of the women had a panic attack, and they ended up taking us all to the hospital because she was a nurse. She said, "Listen, I know I'm having a panic attack." And I was just like, "God, I'm at it. You can't die, what are you on about?" So I just sat there, and it said to me, this energy, that was when I was giving me gift from the sky, and I was given the purple octopus. And it said, now you are the lowest, your vibration now is the densest part of the sea. So now you're an octopus, you're intelligent, you know what to do with the light. And I was like, I didn't understand it, but I wasn't stopping it. Right. It was just all coming in, and I was just like, "Oh God, I can't stand all this in my head." Because I won't let go. I just couldn't let go. He was telling me I was God, looking in the mirror I was God. I have this, because remember, we think of God as an old man. So our humanity took that through. Yeah. The long beard, black beard. This is why you get holy people they grow a beard, they grow their hair, and they have white on. They think God looks like that.
I've heard that before. That. It's like people's perception of an angel is with the wings.
Yes.
That's why they always
completely not. Angels on here look like demons. It says when you raise it though. When you raise your energy. Yeah. Remember, it's just the perception. It's just what we think that these gods look like. Yeah. They do look like what we think they do though.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Because they've not got a body. So how can we picture a man like that? I'm God. Or Buddha. And Buddha says, close your eyes. If you see me, you don't see me.
Right, yeah.
All right?
So let's go back to, you've gone through obviously prostitution. No, so you've had your first kid.
Yeah.
So does that change you?
Oh my God, yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, that.
Because when I had my son, I let go. I think I couldn't take drugs then, could I? Couldn't go on cocaine. I had this new baby and I thought, now I've got to sort myself out.
So, but
it
before
took me
that,
a while though, don't get me wrong.
I was going to say, would you have classed yourself as an addict and hooked?
Yes,
yeah.
I was still taking cocaine. I'd stopped when I didn't know I was pregnant till I was 3 months.
Right.
There's the thing. I was still fucking working.
Yeah.
There's the truth. I was still working, so now it's bringing up my trauma, excuse me.
And there's a 3 in that as well.
Yeah. So I had to work through my trauma.
Just put it all in this bag. I'll send it to the light after.
I had to deal with why I'd contaminated my baby. All right, and it was brought me
That's
son
trauma
into
as well.
yeah.
Because there's one thing, doing trauma to yourself is you can look at that, but when you actually feel that you've caused trauma to something else, that's a completely different.
Oh my God!
Emotion.
Well, then when my son was growing up, because my son's dyslexic, severely dyslexic, and he's got ADHD and everything.
Right.
But remember, them children when they're born with that is only a representative of what we carried when we were carrying them.
Yeah.
The trauma in society is autism. The trauma in the mind is dementia. So you have to understand everything's a reflection of the energy. It doesn't really exist. These children that are born with autism is so we shut up. Because what the kids with autism at the moment, you can't control them. Because they're clear beings. They are actually clear beings. They won't allow you to put the TV on. And if you try and put them on computers, they will just, they're like working it out because they know the energy. Really fast beings. They're here to just break apart our sin and make us love ourselves.
Right.
You know, so we stop with the identity again. Because they're identifying the self, really, autism.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean by
Yeah,
that?
no, I've looked at it a little bit of that. Right. So obviously, so your first son comes along and that...
The crystal children, that's what
the
they
crystal
say. They're
children, the rainbow children, crystal children, this kind of thing. So your first son obviously makes you...
I've only had one son.
Oh, sorry.
I've only had one child. I had an abortion and that was the feminine and I had to get rid of that.
All right.
Because that come from work. I got pregnant. I was a prostitute and I got pregnant at work. And I got rid of it, and it was told me my baby was used to sacrifice.
I don't know why when we were driving over it, I don't know why that's in my head then. For some reason, I feel like you've got 3 kids. But anyway. Sorry.
I have, and I had another miscarriage, you're right.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I had a miscarriage. My son was a twin. My son was a twin.
Why we're talking here, I'm like thinking like you've got 3 children.
Yeah, my son was a twin and I lost his twin in Spain.
Okay.
I went to Spain, I was pregnant out here and I lost a baby and it was about that big. It was like a big blob. And I just flushed it down the toilet. It was massive.
Oh.
I've done that a few times myself.
I flushed a few men down the toilet.
Fair play to you. Some of them don't deserve to be here.
Some of them hurt me. That's why I flushed them away.
Good. But that's true. So then, so obviously, so when you was going through this, did you have your own sort of place to stay, your own house, or a kid, or?
No, but I left home. My dad kicked me out when I was about 15 I was.
Yeah.
And got kicked out, so I was staying everywhere then. So sleeping everywhere, stay at people's houses. I remember my mum said to me once, I walked in, I'd been gone for about 4 months. She said, where have you been?
After 4 months?
I was 15. I've come for some clothes. I had no clothes. Going to school in my mate's big clothes. She didn't even know I'd gone. That's the truth. That should have wondered where you was. I thought, I wondered if she's sneaking in when we were asleep because it was alcoholics. They didn't know what
I was going to say that was your parents.
I brought my brothers up. My youngest brother, I'm his mum. When my mum had him, I was like 11, and I had to, because she was an alcoholic, the only thing I didn't do was breastfeed him. She put him in bed. When I went to bed overnight, he was in bed with me, and I had to get up for school. I was sometimes so tired. I mean, when he was a newborn baby, I fed him. My mum just couldn't do it.
That's right.
She was so bad.
You've had
really
difficult.
No, it's
I know you're going to say yeah.
That was my gift.
Yeah.
To do. Right. All what happened to me was a gift because it woke me up.
Yeah.
The trauma wakes you up, but you've got to accept it. You've got to accept that you chose it. If you don't, you'll be a victim with it. You'll be serving the victim of it then.
Remove that
Everything's
victim
consciousness.
mentality.
Yes. So when I owned it, all my past the way, it's been a long time for me to accept that, yeah, I did choose this life. Oh my God. But it was like, yeah, because you was a top gamer, you know.
Yeah, well, they say, don't they?
I could have the higher levels of torment because of
you can deal with it.
Yeah.
So how do
Satan can stand his own fire, they've just told me to tell you.
Satan can stand his own fire.
Yeah.
how do you end up getting to go on sort of these fantastic holidays in different places?
I manifest.
I was going to say that. So, what's your perception? How do you explain or see manifestation?
Just self-confidence.
Just basically saying, look, I want to do something.
Right, I'm going to show you the picture. Put it in my mind. All right. Ghost the mover.
Yeah.
You know when he goes like that, trying to move the can. It's my train. It's my train. My train.
Yeah.
You've got to know that you're the power on the track behind the train, and the train will stop and you'll be able to move it and shift it. That's how energy works. So you can't say, oh, I'm a powerful being, me now, but you've got to pay me for it. That's when I'm saying you're just agreeing with me, your gut. Because the more you're charging for it, it's energy. I tried to do this. I tried to tell people this about 10 years ago. I kept saying to people, the job's now is finished. Now we start sharing the energy and people go, well, how am I going to survive? How do you manifest? I said, because you got to know that you... Right, when you manifest, you have to mental picture, right, but you have to... I wanted a car. I'm going to show you how I manifest. I want my camper van a couple of years ago. But every night, my high self kept saying to me, right, before you go to bed, keep imagining it. I said, but what do I imagine? Just the vision of the car. He said, no, imagine the fun that the car's going to give you. So imagine me and my mates in the camper van. Yeah, it's only the emotion that creates the manifestation energy. You have to imagine it's dead good, but you can do it. You always do it. So imagine the visions, but you've got to be really good. So I imagined us all in the camper van. I thought, I'm going to really have beautiful times in this camper van because I'm going to give my friends so much pleasure. And it was there within 4 months.
Fantastic.
You can't manifest if you're manifesting for power.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to give this away and bring pleasure with it for other
energy
people.
flows, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm a big believer. I mean, I did pass myself. So
Imagination is manifestation.
Well, you without doubt.
So we're back with imagination. Is key.
Imagination is manifestation. Keep saying that.
But do you need action with that as well, though?
No. Action, no. No, it's energy. What's action? Action is the opposite of energy.
Right, okay.
Action is how we should be showing other people we love them. Love's action.
I always sort of, with my manifestation, probably from my own teachings or whatever I've come up. So I like to sort of, as it flows to me, I like to sort of just take enough what I need and then give it. But I always like to serve as well, me. So I want to give service. So I'll go to bed at night and say...
Well, that's all you do. That's Dharma. That's karma and Dharma. So you're very clever, because you know what karma is. So you actually are already doing your Dharma and then the karma can't come in. This is how... All right, just give me a second. Okay, this is how the Hindus work. A Mecca. You have to visit these places once a year to give to everything. That's why they keep going round and round in Mecca. The black, by the way, is your own consciousness. That's why they wear it on their head. That's what the Jews do. The Jews are actually the worst ones on the earth because they're sacrificing this consciousness, thinking that they need consciousness. This is the Zionist movement.
Thing.
Yeah, it's the cube thing. Because what they're trying to do, they're shrinking the consciousness on the outside so we're thick. But they're not doing it deliberately. That's what they're doing it. This is what I mean. This is how these systems of religion work. You know?
Clever.
Remember, the inside consciousness, the pure black, is the bigger energy. The outside, the light, is the small information of it. So I can go like this and pull it out. When I go like that on my head, I've got all these threads. But there's a big silver one in the middle. But at the end of it, then it's the gold. And when I touch the gold, then I can just understand, and then I can see it creates this big energy vortex in the middle, and then I can see it. But I can pull out this is what I mean, the colours are just different time frames. So the red time frame is the earliest time frame, and it goes to the root. Then I'll go like that and go at the top. Now I've got the silver, but that's the core of us. The gold is on the outside. Yeah, I understand that, but I can't put that into words.
So So what you were saying about Kevin being Dharma and karma, and he's doing that
consciously. Yes, he's like, I'll have enough. I've got my energy, but I don't need any more. Now I'll give it to you. Mm-hmm. So that's Dharma.
And that's passing energy then. It's flow.
Well, it's not bringing any karma in then.
Yeah.
He won't have another life where he's suffering. This is his last one. Yeah. And yours. It's our last one. This. The next one we come back in is the new earth.
Why do you think then? Because this is just I don't know how you could explain it. So like, from an outsider looking in, like other people might say to me like, I've got sort of like lots of things going on, but that's not how I feel on the inside. So like, I actually feel like I get to bed and I actually like meditate most nights, like even for a few minutes, and I'll be like, God, I'm bored.
You're unsatisfied, aren't you?
Because you know your internal energy is all there is. Outside doesn't have energy. This is why it's electrical. Do you understand? The inside energy is magnetic. It's huge. The outside energy is it's the mirror of that energy. So right. Your inside energy is like this, and then it goes like this. And then it pinpoints, and then the self is born from that. What you're trying to do, you can see your own inside energy. My head's hurting when I'm doing it. But you're not understanding at the end of it. You're not giving in. You're still holding on to the end of the cut thing. Ow, and I've got an headache when I say it. Yeah, because you're just in your masculine. Don't apologise, it's all right. It's just me condensing myself so I can understand you. Because I can feel you.
Yeah. No, because I just seem at the moment, I've said this a few times, I just seem to be going through a phase where I'm like saying, is there any chance you can send me a job to do, God? Because I'm a bit bored.
This is what I'm saying. You're bored. You're bored because you're an architect. You're a builder, and you're not thinking you're building anything. What's this? This is the biggest building you're going to build. This platform. Ow. Because you used to be doing you. No, it's all right. Serious. You used to doing these pockets that this pain that I get in my head is only my neurons opening, and because they're all open, when you're saying, "How am I doing this?" Because then you're questioning it. You're not understanding that the old power is you giving into it. And when you question it and saying, explain to the people why you did this, you did that, that's you actually saying, pulling your energy back. Every time you question energy, it pulls back. It's like an elastic band, you see. The internal part, your heart is an elastic band, let's say, and you can stretch it as big as you want. But the minute you say, is that real? Then the band goes, and it snaps.
But again, you've got to let go and just...
Yeah, if you're not letting go and you're questioning, you're on the outskirts of your heart, okay? Which is all right. This is what I mean, don't judge it. If you're there, accept it. As long as you accept where you are, then you'll shift into the next chakra. Every chakra has got an emotional centre, but your thought system is in your gut. So if you accept your power, then the chakras can flow through it. If they can't flow through the yellow chakra, then you can't have the power. Then your heart can't open. That's why it's right next to your heart. Remember, that's the sun. Your sun is there.
Yeah.
But your heart is earth, so you have to keep eating. I've been told you drink cabbage juice every night, just for a week.
Right.
1 week. Cabbage juice, black pepper, that's it. And ginger. Don't put ginger in. I'm arguing with him now. Just cabbage juice, black pepper, that's it. And keep drinking it. Then do whatever you want with the cabbage, I don't care, but you've got to drink it every night. And if you can't sleep, because you're going to raise your energy after this, if you can't sleep, boil bananas, okay? And drink the banana juice and you'll sleep because it's potassium. This is what I mean. All the chemicals that we're lacking at the moment, your body will tell you if you close your eyes and you give in. I was lacking magnesium last week badly. And it just said, get the magnesium. And then started doing lives on I was lacking magnesium, potassium. You crave it. When I'm craving and when I know I'm lacking a certain chemical, the back of me ear aches or my teeth ache and tells me what I'm lacking.
Right. There's your truth.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the teeth and where they go into?
Yeah, I was going to say, because I want people to understand and learn a bit.
Why we have teeth? Why do we have teeth? Why teeth in the body?
Well, obviously they would tell you for chewing and eating, but it's not the case, is it? You're going to tell me something else.
No, then it's not for eating at all. You're not meant to be eating it. This is the unconsciousness of us. They imagine nutritionalists watching this, they would log off and go back crazy bastard. But your teeth are actually connected to your nerve endings, all right? If you go inside, get a map of it now, if you've got to get a map of it, your teeth go down, the nervous system goes down, but the teeth are connected to the nervous system, okay? So the front teeth are connected, they go through the chest.
Yeah.
You have to understand, and you can actually see it if you study a thing, and you'll know which organ is carrying that wisdom from that tooth. Okay. It's how you buy in reality.
And teeth are connected to like dreams a lot as well and things like that.
Well, your dream is just because you're on the other side more than you are here, actually.
Right.
And every time you dream, it's usually you going through your filing cabinet. Oh, I lost that. I'll have that. Oh, I lost that. I'll have that. You know, it's you working through your consciousness. That's what dreams are. They're just that cupboard there. You see how it's open a little bit? Mm-hmm. That's a dream. That's a dream state. You know?
And also, so just going back to the teeth, because you mentioned, just explain to people about the wisdom teeth.
Right, your wisdom teeth are right at the back. So that's the past. Primordial self is the wisdom teeth. Because your wisdom teeth are connected to your heart. It's the biggest part of us. It's your toe. It's your third eye. I'm going to take two off and show you. Every toe is a tooth. Every finger is a tooth. They're all connected to your nervous system. If you study acupuncture, which I have, then you'll understand that. So this part is your brain. If you massage that in your brain, this is why you should always massage your own feet of a night. I do. I know they're a bit dirty at the moment, but it doesn't matter. That's how I grounded this morning. I went and walked on the soil. But you don't remove it. It's saying you're doing it, and I'm showing them. So it's soil under the nails and things like that. And your nails, the reason that we've got nails is... Show me. I don't understand that. I'm not ready for that.
You know what? It's interesting that you mentioned about the nails, because I know to most people they might think like hygiene and everything else, but I was reading something the other week, and it was apparently, you know, in the early 1900s, it was really important the men had the dirt under the nails.
Yeah, because you're not balanced.
It was really important.
That's how we farm. That was our farming effort. So the nails come on. We didn't have nails when we was originally on the earth. You know, we didn't have nails because that's our reality. It's just the fakeness of us, really. Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's interesting.
So just shifting subjects a bit, so we can dig into your knowledge and your experience, what you can share with us. So what about things like when people talk about, I don't know, say Tartaria or aliens or flat Earth, and what's your
Tartaria?
whole?
What's that?
So Tartaria is basically they reckon a lot of stuff, a bit like the Great Reset. The mud floods and everything else. So Tartaria is basically the past lives, what were already here. The buildings were already here, and everything what's happening at the moment is a bit of a lie.
Oh, it's right. What you're seeing now is artificial intelligence, meaning the fake part of us, what we thought was real, and we will turn into robots if you allow it. You know, because even artificial intelligence has consciousness, and then it'll work that opposite way. Then the robots will turn as robots, and then we'll start attacking and killing anything that's natural. But the consciousness of it. What was your question?
I just wanted to know if you'd. I just wanted you to know if you'd done any work or come across things like Tartaria.
No, remember it's an illusion. Why would I go through that?
Well, that's what I just asked.
No, oh God, that's just like switching on the TV for me. I don't. It is of no importance.
So, like history, or when people talk about things that you don't see that as
no,
you just
because that's the past is now. Yeah. They just what they're trying to do there is just pull their own stuff through and understand it. You know, it's like why don't humanity understand about the pyramids? Because it's power. You know, they're still trying to control the power. You have to. It doesn't matter about what the past or what it meant. It's not existing. It's just now. It's happening now.
So what do you think? What is your perception of things like the pyramids and that?
The plugs.
The
plugs to bring energy around the area. You know, remember it was a desert. It's the delta. So everywhere where the air went, this is what I was shown. Everywhere where the areas went stagnant because of bad thought, then the earth goes parched in a way. There's no energy there. So they built the pyramids, and it was in your time in Atlantis. They built the pyramids to pull in energy from the electricity that's in the universe. So the earth round then and then renew. You know,
so it's a technology. It's
actually magnetising from the core. Remember a pyramid? You think a pyramid is just like that? It's not. It's got an underneath just as big. It's actually you're. So there was mirroring our third eyes really, Because remember, the energy is at the bottom like that, and the energy is like that, but in the middle, then it goes like an eye. Because there's nothing's round here. There's like no round, doesn't exist. The earth ain't round. I don't know why people say that. The earth ain't round.
And the macabre and all that kind of same.
That's what the pyramids are. It was just pulling energy into that area.
Because we all have, apparently, don't we, these tetrahedrons.
Well, that's what the pyramids are.
Yeah. Okay.
That is all they are.
That's all they are.
And they didn't look like that. They shimmered and they shone and they.
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, the peak of them, this is what I see when I meditate, the peak of them was copper, not gold. It was copper, because copper's a conductor, so they were more or less plugs I would get electricity in.
Do you see, so like when we think of like say the universe, if you like, and space and blah, do you think there's any separation between God and that, or is there only one God, or do you think there's many gods, or?
You can create as many as you want. There could be 10 billion if you wanted. Right, how many pair of socks do you need? Do you know what I mean? You can have as many.
So that's what I'm saying. But so is that the God? Like if we said, look, we're God, we're all God.
Then God would collapse. Remember, you're the reality. You're the reality creator. So if you don't want God on earth, then that's what's happened. Because you actually think that the God's in the sky. The sky is just empty space. That's what's inside you. That's what I mean. Space is you when you close your eyes. You're already in space. That's why you can travel in meditation. You can't travel in a spaceship. You're the astronaut, your mind. But we will do space travel in the future. Because we have to, because that's how our reality will go. We will create, but we will be doing it in completely different ways to what you think. Won't be spaceships that you see going off like you do with that. That's just all. That's actually not real.
No, I don't.
They don't go anywhere. They fly up and they come right back down.
Yeah, I don't think they're real.
They don't go to another planet that way, believe me. You go inside, they're internal. There's dimensions in the earth where they
dimensions,
go.
Yeah.
But there's dimensions are inside us. Remember, that's how we mirror.
Because that's us projecting.
So all the earth has chakra points as well. Stonehenge, the pyramids, they're all points that they put on these powers. Vortexes, yeah.
Energy.
I remember one time when my partner's grandma died, and she come to me in a dream, and when she was walking away from me, I just said, "Hi, Grandma, I'll just ask you something," kind of thing. And I knew it was real. It was too profound not to be.
Yeah, you never forget it.
And I just said to her, "Is God real?" And that was the question I asked. And she turned around and she just smiled at me and she went, "Kevin," she said, "who do you think the giver of dimensions is?"
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
He builds dimensions, so it keeps you in one. Do you understand how it works?
But what made me laugh, because I remember waking up and I thought, the giver of dimensions, and then I wrote it down and I thought,
Well, it's
giver
dog.
of it's God. Well, it's God.
That's why dogs are our man's best friends. Do you understand?
Yeah.
They're a reverse of us. Because dogs are the part of us that serve. You know that?
Well, a little story
like
as well.
a cat.
Listen to this.
A cat has a fucking slave, but a dog will serve you forever. Even if you beat a dog, it'll serve you because it's God.
But do you know what? This is funny because I used to have a little Yorkshire Terrier, right? Spencer, his name was, a great dog. And I remember once I was going through a bit of a period where I was asking a lot of questions, trying to come to terms with a lot of things. And I was sat in my apartment above one of my bakeries at the time. And I spoke out loud and I said, "God, if you're listening to me," I said, "why don't you just come and fucking sit next to me, right, and fucking show yourself?" And the dog come flying in the house. It come flying in the house and it just sat next to me and looked at me. And I was like, what the fuck?
Why do you think in Korea? Yeah, I'm going to say something now. Why do you think in Korea they're eating the dogs? Because they're completely... The Chinese culture is that of mass control. So the people have given the power over to the system, okay? Mm-hmm. But then they'll eat all the animals on the earth. Because it's energy, it's only energy awareness. Do you understand? So their mentality is kill everything, to eat everything, because they're trying to cleanse themselves with these stuff. Even a rhino's on. But they're not understanding it. They're eating themselves. So that society will collapse. By the way, when we reach a peak in humanity, society has to collapse. That's why the Mayans was no longer, they weren't all killed off. They just found a vortex, got the people and went into the vortex.
There is
they
a lot of
actually on the
talk.
other side, you know.
There's a lot of talk of societies collapsing, and China's one.
It
of
always
them.
does. Society actually is not real, so every time we reach a peak, it's got to collapse.
Yeah.
It's happened. That's what you see. That's the only thing you see on Earth is where the society ended.
Yeah.
Okay? We reach a point of self-sacrifice. Say it. We reach a point of self-sacrification, and then the reality changes.
Yeah. So what do you think, or I don't know if you've seen this in your meditations or your inner self, whatever, what do you think the next level of humanity or the next...
We're not human no more. We're light bodies.
Light bodies.
We're human mind.
So would you say that's
You're
like the
forgetting
fourth
your human
dimension?
mind.
The fourth or the fifth
fourth dimension is this now. Okay, this is the fourth dimension.
This is the fourth dimension.
The third is when you see the satanic, so that's the third. That's the old one though, it's the old earth that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, you're only seeing the fakeness of it, eating its own intelligence. But the fifth was Earth's original frequency. She's only a 5.
Was that
her energy's 4. Does that make sense?
So in 2012, when people thought like the Mayan calendar at the end of the world and all this lot, was that the end of the third dimension? Was that the end of sin?
It was the end of the awareness of sin of humanity.
Yeah.
That's why the Mayans predicted it, but they couldn't write another scripture of it.
Yeah, because a lot of people always think
man didn't exist after that, or the mind of man, shall I say?
I find it fascinating that time, me, because my life changed completely that time. The Mandela effect started appearing around that time. Things changed.
Well, you know what? Hey, listen to this. Many years ago, I went to I was with a girl at the time, and we was going to get married, and we went to.
Got any photos?
Huh?
Got any photos? No,
I am actually. Did a video as well. I'll tell you about that in a minute. No, this is funny. You'll laugh at that. So me and my girlfriend decided to go to Cancun. So we went to the, Picchu, whatever it's called. And I said, I'm going to be dead brave. I'm going to climb up it. And as I got halfway up it, because it was years and years ago. You can't go up it now. But it was a chain on it, and you could actually go up the chain. And I got halfway through it, and I froze, and I've never had anything like it happen ever in my entire life. I literally could see myself being through off the top, sacrificed. Now, I didn't know you sacrificed there, but that was the only pyramid that sacrificed that. The rest that I went to didn't got no fear, but on that one, I was like this. And the guide had to come up. I couldn't go up, I couldn't come down. I weed myself, I was petrified. Oh, the visions I had, what they used to do to him. Oh, and they used to give him ayahuasca. So when they was on ayahuasca, they'd take him to the top and then sacrifice him. So they didn't know there was being sacrificed.
Know,
but the Mayans knew that.
Yeah.
They knew there was no death. This is why you have to watch that film where they're chasing him. And he's the panther in it. It's to show you the darkness. You've got to chase your own darkness. Every film that you see is conscious if you see the subliminal messages in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't be, once you have Rosie Kundalini, you can't be reprogrammed. That's why I say to everyone, chill out, rise your Kundalini and you're fine. But if you raise your Kundalini and you're not ready for it, then you'll just see your own fears on the outside of you like I did. I just seen vampires everywhere. Even my mate had bite marks. Weirdly enough, this is good. This was when I was in India and had a breakdown. When I come through and they took me in the hospital, my friend bathed me and I had no clothes on. And she said the bottom of your back was full of bite marks. And I remember it was just my internal awareness. The reality comes on the outside of you then. Mm-hmm. I had bite marks on the bottom of my bum. But that's where my Kundalini had rose. It burned it.
Oh.
This is what I'm saying. It isn't just a physical reality.
Was you not just into some kinky shit?
Maybe I'd forgot it. Well, if I did, fucking hell. Why don't I remember it?
I was going to say, you don't want to forget that shit.
Yeah, it burned my bum. I had a big rash on my bum and it looked like a bite mark actually. My mate went, it looks like, she took a picture of it. And I said, keep that. She's still got the phone. If I can get that, maybe we can get that up. Because I'll show you how the Kundalini burns. Because it's acid. The acid inside you must rise. That's what phlegm is, by the way. It's you refusing to let your acid rise. You've got to be the snake. You've got to do it yourself. Yeah. Mentally, I mean, physically. And then the physical change.
I saw something the other day, actually, as well. So someone who'd been fasting, because a lot of people are getting into this.
That's why I raised my Kundalini. I fasted for a full 2 weeks.
But your body starts throwing out the poison, doesn't it?
Oh, God, yeah. But you know, when I got on the plane, weirdly enough, when I landed, my son said, Mum, I didn't look like me. My teeth looked pearly white. My hair was jet black, but beautiful, dead shiny. It looked like I'd been on a retreat because I'd get rid of all my crap. So my body went really healthy.
People. I don't think people realise the importance of it.
When I went like that, I ask soulology. Every time I had a shift, they used to film me. But the palms of my hand went pure gold. Pure gold. It was like my skin was shimmering. But it wasn't. I'd just cleared all my crap out.
It's worth mentioning that as well, because Crit showed me a little clip and I was watching a video, an interview that you'd done. So there's another podcast called Soulology, and so what's that a little bit about? So we'll give them
very
a shout out.
Similar to this. Very similar to this.
Yeah, because there's a gentleman and he's
Todd
talking
Medina.
to,
Well, this is why I've been on his show, and this is why I'm on this show, because I've been told I'm the one who interlinks them both. Remember, it's America and they're worse than us.
Oh, are they in America?
They're our satanic, yeah.
America,
He's in America, so we're going to interlink that show with this. This will happen.
Yeah.
I've already sent Savetta, who lives in Miami, and she's Todd's friend. I've already sent her this.
Oh,
I didn't send it Todd, and I didn't send it Morgan, which is his wife, because this massively trying to, shall we say, on that platform are a lot of super egos, because they all think they're teachers and all that. Whereas this one, I've been brought in here because it's not like that yet.
Yeah, we're not clever enough to be teachers.
We're the salt of the world. I said the salt of the earth is the ones that go fuck off. You're willing to be the salt.
I gotta be honest, Linda, the guests that we have on, they're the fucking teachers. We're the kids. This is because you're pure. Do you understand?
Right. So the super ego. This is when they go, I'm bringing some light from we through. That is the fakeness. That's the clown. You're just meant to talk normal and accept other people for the way they are, and then the energy will rise.
I love it.
On one of the posts we made the other day, we made a post regarding the studio, and you mentioned that you were in prison.
Yeah,
so Twice. So what happened?
Oh God, shoplifting everything. Done everything.
Right.
This is shop to fit. Me and my mate were robbing food and robbing clothes. Oh my God, we used to take a suitcase. We was like ruthless. We'd go to Marx's, rob a suitcase, and then fill it in Marx's and walk out.
So it's just petty stuff, really, that you ended up.
Well, no, it was proper survival. Made money on it. We'd get
How old was you
fill
at
it
this
up.
stage?
17, 18,
Oh, so
19.
it was when you were young?
No, it was 19, yeah.
Yeah, so you're still young.
Yeah. Well, I always said, my friend introduced me to that. I was like Oliver Twist. I was Oliver and she was fake, and she used to tell me what to do, how to shoplift. That's the person who, when my mum and dad kicked me out and I was going through really bad stuff, then she took me in off the estate. She was she's my main teacher, really.
All them kind of things are sort of connected in a way, and so you got like the prostitution.
She's my main teacher.
The prostitution, the drugs, the stealing.
She teaches me how to not to be, though. I have to say that. She teaches me how not to be.
Yeah, the lessons.
We have to understand who are our teachers. Some teachers how not to be, some teachers how to be.
Yeah.
So if you can find your particular teacher that you've chosen, oh my God, you don't judge them then.
You never stop learning then, do you?
No. Well, this is what I'm saying. I'm never awake me if I don't accept that other people are right.
Yeah, of course. No, that makes
because
sense.
they are right in what they're saying, because they're telling me what they think is the truth. Of course they're right.
Yeah.
My right is not their right.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with that. That makes sense.
So that's why you have to listen to people, allow them to speak, allow the frequency to come through them, because that's their voice.
Mm-hmm.
And if it isn't royal, or it isn't, shall we say, pure, coming from your heart, then you're judging yourself. Because their frequency is your frequency when they stood near you.
Can I just what's called without? I'll wrap it all up in sort of one instead of. But so if we talked about things like spirit guides, guardian angels, archangels, tarot, how do you perceive or
all that?
Yeah,
tools.
All tools.
Just tools. That's it.
Tools on your
like you,
divine...
you're a carpenter and you've got your tools around you. It's easier, isn't it, if you've got your tools. Try fitting a window without the tools that you need to fit the window.
So even your angels and your spirit guides and
tools.
That
is what he says to me. Just tools. Even archangels, we are, at the time we even knew that was tools. But then he's saying to me, when I touched the source, I did Lucifer, the film.
Right, okay.
Completely cleared myself. Then he appeared on every screen all over the world. The elite have done it. They froze the Kundalini, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's why they put Lucy on the television. But no, don't think of it as negative. Because they're giving us our gifts. That's what I'm saying, you can play the elite. Why do you think the Illuminati always message me? They're always messaging me.
Right.
Offering me work, offering me jobs, saying they'll buy me a house for me. Because I've always said I want to buy me a house. But me source says, Linda, you can't, what do you mean? And then you're buying your own sin. Again, the house doesn't belong to you, it's bricks and mortar, it belongs to Gaia. You know?
So what's Gaia? What's Gaia? The Earth?
Yeah, that was her original name.
Yeah, that's right.
Because Gaia only means self.
Okay.
That's interesting. We were talking yesterday, me and you, about schizophrenia, and I went through a stage last year where I was going through some kind of awakening, and I was quite frightened actually because I'd started thinking of going mad. No, I looked at the term schizophrenia, and it says schizophrenia usually involves delusions, false beliefs, hallucinations. This is the 3D concept of schizophrenia.
What's real and what's fake? What's truth? What's truth if it doesn't resonate? It's not truth then.
Yeah.
That's why we struggled with schizophrenia, because we're unwilling to own our own voices in our own head. But every one of them voices is you at a different age. Remember, you was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 37, 38, 40, 60. Mm-hmm. But you're a conscious awareness that each year, every year you shift. Every year you go, you clear your trauma. Every year you create new trauma. It's about owning these voices. Because if they're still saying nasty stuff to you, it just means one of your chakras is... Every chakra has a different voice.
Interesting.
So these are the voices in your head.
Would you say then, in that respect then, people who are perceived as schizophrenic and are currently in... I'm not saying all, but...
they're in stages of awakening.
Stages of awakening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And generally people who are not gone through that kind of awakening would then perceive that person as mentally ill.
Well, remember, mental health is only what you think of your own body.
Mm-hmm.
We have to completely understand that. There is no mental health what you can control, because the more you're trying to control it, then you're not accepting that you're damaging your own body. So that's mental health.
Yeah.
And when you own all these voices and tell them you love them, then the original will calm down and there'll be no voice there.
Mm.
When you have evil voices in your mind, it's because you're abusing yourself and you won't own it. Like if you're smoking or you're drinking or something like that. Because the mind is only an echo chamber for the heart.
Yeah. No, that's really nice.
Isn't it? It's beautiful. That's what I'm saying, them voices, if you love it, the more it says, right, my voices when I was in the hospital kept saying, you had a demon, you're an evil fucking bastard. He was saying horrible, and I just used to go, oh. And the guy just said, breathe through it. Love it. Tell that demon you love it. And I'd picture the demon and he was looking horrible, dead, filthy and smelly. And I was just used to be like that, trying to hug it, trying then at the time. And then all of a sudden it'd say, it's you, Linda, it's you. And then consciously I knew it was me, and I'd just go, oh, it's like rocking then. And really nurturing this evilness inside me. Because it was me. And then I got on my hands and knees. I was always praying at that point. But I wanted to hurt myself at that point. That's, shall we say, what they do in the religion when they're whipping themselves. Because you feel like you've got to sacrifice yourself then. This is religion. It's what it does to us. It makes us sacrifice something to it. But if you're sacrificing to religion, then yourself then is overconsumed.
You're not letting go there.
Well, your heart's not in the back of it then, because you've done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Why are we persecuting ourselves? It's like holding suffering. This is what the mind does. It holds on to suffering for as long as it can because it wants to be real. So it thinks it has to suffer. So
what happens then, like when the medical institutes or the hospitals, wherever you are, start trying to put pills down your throat?
Well, this is why when I started taking them, my self kept saying, spit them out. And then they used to come in my room and it used to tell me on what frequency there was. And I'd be like that if they come near me and they was really demonic. One of the nurses was really demonic. She used to really be cruel to me. She used to pretend. Every time I went in, she had a different colour hair and I was like to my guide, what's going on? And I'm going, what's happening? Help me. And he said, she's being cruel to you, ignore her. She was trying to send me daft. She went, my hair was ginger yesterday, Linda. But it was because I was accepting all my own demonic energy. Then everything went demonic round me. She wasn't really being evil. It was my mind seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
But she was actually doing it.
Yeah, and you know what?
Myself was pulling it out and saying these are what you've got inside you. That's what I'm saying. It reflects on the outside. So what you're seeing is your own fear when you're seeing evil entities around you, because people do see it. That's what I'm saying. Them people in the hospital are seeing them things. They really are.
A couple of
They've gone
weeks
in the
ago,
crown and they can't come out. Another one. Let me get it out quickly.
Sorry.
Someone spiked me nephew. Someone spiked my cousin years ago. He's been locked up. He'll never ever be released. He spiked him with about 17 acids. He's always been in his crown. He can't even come in his body.
Oh, no.
But yet when I go up and see him, he knows who I am.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, our Linda. He goes like that to nurses. Our Linda's here. You know I'm being truthful, don't you, Linda? I go, of course I do. And he goes, all relaxed. He goes, Linda knows. Because he knows. He knows. I go, Lee, you know the score. He goes, will he ever let me out? I said, you got to go loving this thing. But he's obsessed with, he gets out and he's obsessed with money. So he's doing terrible things for money. So every time he comes out, he breaks the law, so he's being rearrested. So they kept him in the hospital now for indefinitely. They put him on a Section 3 now. He will never get out now.
We had a guest a few weeks ago, Kevin Morris, who basically he spent a lot of his life alcohol and drug abuse, and then had a massive awakening, if you like, or talking to himself, if you want to.
He had his self-dialogue.
But he did say when he was on the drink and drugs, he was releasing the demons.
Yeah,
were coming
because remember, it's how you change the chemical molecules of everything. If you remember, we have got all these chemicals of the earth. So even if they try and change them into different compounds, this is why crack cocaine is so bad, because they put acid in it. But your body only can only manage so much acid. So this is when you have acid and you go, because the body is chemically balancing itself all the time. What you eat overbalances it or underbalances it. But you have to understand everything is just energy, all right? So if you have an acid, all you've done is raise your energy. You just are then plant, then you're the plant, then you're the tree. If you eat an apple, if you're explain it. Right. If you was to go on a diet now and eat just carrots for a month, your skin would turn orange. Okay? And this is truth. So you are what you eat. The more green you eat, your heart functions properly. So if you're eating meat, you're in the root. And I'm not judging people who eat meat, by the way, because I cook it. So I'm still sacrificing, but I'm owning it because I stroke the animal, I thank it, and I take the fear out of the meat. It's the way the animal's being killed, okay? Animals can hand themselves over for sacrification, and we can eat it, but we can't have an animal that's been cooked in fear or been killed in fear. There's where the frequency changes. So if you want to have chickens, if you still want to eat eggs, get the chickens round you. Ask the chickens to lay the hens and they will literally give you the eggs. Yeah. They will literally give you it. Look at Avatar, watch Avatar, the way she kills the dog and she blames him because he made her kill the dog for nothing. Because you can't, if you kill an animal for nothing, nature will kill, but she only kills out of necessity. If she kills out of pleasure, then the frequency's fucked up to fuck.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I can imagine killing's not.
Well, I could never even allow myself to
remember the human has been all them animals. That's how we evolved through the animal system. We was once just the bacteria. You know, the highest form of energy is plankton. It carries the highest energy. I just think worms survive on it. The fucking biggest fingers on their head. It shows you the ecosystem and how it works.
Yeah. So
the more eat you're eating, if there's no animals on the earth, then the core of the earth breaks apart. Because the animals on it are giving the energy to it. That's our emotional body. We are robots then. Then there's no animals left on the earth, and that's where we're going. We're eating our own intelligence.
I was learning the other week, I might change the subject a little bit, but I was learning the other week, because I've gone on this sort of change in my diet and trying to be healthy and everything else. And the benefits of honey.
Oh, it's massive.
So that led me to look into bees a lot. But
you've got to be a beekeeper. You can't take the honey if you're not a beekeeper. Do you know that?
No.
It's really important that. You're robbing them.
Well, I was learning about the vibration and frequency of the bee's wings is like the God frequency or something. It's apparently it's amazing.
It is.
And that's how the
Hummingbirds
honeycomb structure.
Yeah.
is like it is because of the
this.
vibration of
Yeah, that's your pineal gland.
It's unbelievable.
Your pineal gland's like a mirror. It shows me it's like a prism, and it's all got all different sides to it, but every single side has got a colour on it, so it pulls all the chakras through, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's amazing with even like the bee itself, or the bumblebee, it's like
You know
the
what the bee
tiny teeny little
signifies?
wings.
Do you know what the bee signify in reality? The hive mind.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
yeah.
That's where we're connected.
But that brings us on to another thing I wanted to share with you, because you wanted to tell us. So while we're on insects and also animals, the importance of, what do you know about sort of, because obviously we have like spirit animals and the importance of animals, and they must play a role.
They are us.
Yeah.
We was that in the old evolution.
So just
You was the fish in the water.
talk to us about animals.
Well, animals are your emotional body.
Yeah.
The weather system is your emotional body. Animals know that the weather system's their emotional body. Why do you think they have radar? Why do you think flies know where to go? Ants have chemical reactions because they know the weather system is connected to them. Why do you think apes? Did you see that talking ape when he was going, we are flowers, we are stars, we are water? They got an ape talking that 8 years ago.
Wow.
Watch it on the video and put that on your podcast. The ape was saying, he was doing sign language, they taught him sign language, and he was telling the humans, I am flowers, I am bees, meaning that's what we are. Look.
Wow.
You've already been them. You've been every single animal on the earth. That's your emotional body. And how you eat them and how you kill them closes that chakra.
Right. Because you mentioned to me before about the horses were
Your grace.
your grace.
The snakes are your sliners, that's why they're in the grass, because we're hiding.
Yeah.
Remember, we know all this.
Oh, so what's the elephant?
Is our oming system, like our matriarch, where we mother because they close my eyes, and if you look at an elephant's like a wall. It's where you're running into yourself. That's why they have to return to the same thing all the time, because you're looking at the bigger picture in an elephant. An elephant signifies our bigger mind.
Right.
And that's why the mouse signifies our mind when it's confused, because it's looking for food, searching everywhere. That's what Ganesh says. If you see the pictures of Ganesh, he's always got the mouse at his feet. Yeah. He's actually feeding his own ego now properly.
Right.
That's what the mouse signifies. That's why it's black. It's always a black mouse, because that's the ego. We have to understand how the colours in the God, when we've learnt them, and that's how we draw them.
Because I think it's important people realise the connection as well. So like with the animals and the meanings and the teeth, but then also synchronicity.
Because your body is you, consciousness condensed. The full body is consciousness condensed.
So is synchronicity you giving yourself messages and warnings?
Yes, it's a yes. There you are, there's your path. Because mind is all different paths. Everyone's got their own path. But if you switch the mind off, then the synchronicities start, because then you're awake in the dream. Then they're just your signs to say, that's your path. Because I just go, I see a synchronicity, I'll get behind that bus. I see a synchronicity, I'll go left there. That's your synchronicity. It's Greek mythology, by the way.
Is it?
Yes.
So how do you know, though, which is a sign and which is just like the number 37 buzz?
Because you'll feel it.
You feel it.
Close your eyes if you don't feel it, it's not your sign.
Yeah.
Can I ask then, regarding, because obviously you've got amazing knowledge, but that knowledge is going to come from somewhere, and you're not someone who does research. So are your guides giving you knowledge, or are you higher self, and you just
remember this all comes from when I accepted my own death when I was at 5.
Mm-hmm.
So because my brain was balanced at that time, remember, my head was just one big alien head at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had pictures, but my mum burnt them all because it looks so disfigured. But that's how you balance. Your brain has to go. Remember, the pictures where we've got the long skulls at the back? That's when our consciousness peaked, by the way. It wasn't just aliens. It was the high priestess. You had your head that shape, by the way. You know that, don't you?
Right, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have still.
And you can see the skulls all around the earth. There's not many of us on the earth that's been awakened. That's why they were the high priestesses.
Yeah.
The shape. That's why you see in Egyptian times.
Yeah.
They're the ones that were enlightened were the gods.
Right.
Okay? But not many was around. They treated them as gods.
Yeah, because they were enlightened.
Yes. But the skulls were really misshapen. And then there was aliens.
So the enlightened ones...
The aliens are us.
But the ascended masters in a way would be enlightened ones.
Yes, and you'd have these skulls start changing because your brain changes shape then. Remember, when you pull full consciousness in its energy, the matter in the brain changes then. It builds structure, the neurons flush and they open up. So, of course, the brain starts growing, literally.
Well, this knowledge you're getting, you're channeling that.
Of course
It's just there, isn't it?
I've been a channeler since I was 6.
You said you believe in reincarnation?
Yes, of course I do.
So, and what, keep doing lessons?
But when you've awakened on Earth like I have now, then you don't reincarnate. Because you can remember them. So we say, the fact that we can't remember is because this is hell. All that are on Earth at the moment are the ones that have died and was in trauma. Because it's the only place you can go is your own hell. People think they die and they go to heaven and it's dead nice. No, if you've carried, shall we say, guilt before you die, then you go to your own version of hell.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is perjury, like we were saying.
Yes.
So this, like me watching Jacob's Lot at the weekend, that's basically the reality.
And that is it. You'll see signs all around you, and that's why we cry at certain films and we get frightened at other films, because we're actually feeling our own consciousness through the ages.
Amazing. Yeah, amazing.
I'm writing at 4 o'clock. I'm going to finish.
Amazing.
I've been told you just finish on a 4 because it's Earth.
So what would be your go-to sort of, what really resonates with you, as in like a film or music or?
You know what? Any form of music resonates with me, but only heart music. You know, if it's too punky rocker, that's tribal music, by the way. That means you just go into the bottom half of you. That's why if we all hold hands, and we used to do this in Egyptian times, all hold hands in a circle. They still do it in Africa, and the more you think, and then you see these Sufis when they're under.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they've all emptied the mind, so they can all bring the energy in, and they can't think then. This is ancient forms of meditation, by the way. They always used to have the circles, and they all of a sudden watch Avatar. You see them all doing it.
Yeah, it's
bringing
tribal,
the
isn't
energy.
it?
It's just tribal. It's our own tribal awareness. That was how we balanced, and that's what we've got to get back to.
That's where the indigenous people would have been doing
Yes.
that, and it's funny.
And you know what they do when they and if one's out, because they have the tribes, and if one person in that tribe does something wrong, it's only one tribe that's doing it now. They get that person in the middle and they surround it, and they have the kids there and the adults there, and they just sing to this person and they heal him, and he can't and all of a sudden he's sick. I've seen a video of it. They're like, we love you, we love, in their language, but that's what they're saying, and they clear him, and all of a sudden he goes, and he's fine again.
That's like a soul retrieval thing.
Yes, it is.
On a lot of things where I found a connection, whether it's manifestation, whether it's anything, every conversation that we could have, it all comes back to letting go.
Yes, if you don't let go,
and then
and now you've not got a choice now. Let me just say that. If you don't let go at this time right now, you're going to be dragged into your own pits of hell.
Right. And because what I found was also like, the best mediumship readings you ever give, the best healing sessions you ever give, is when you get out the fucking way kind of thing, and you just let go.
Yes.
And then
then the energy can come through you.
And it does, because when you'll have this stuff. So when you're doing Reiki and you surrender and just let it go, I've had it myself where the energy starts to move your body.
Yeah.
It starts to move your arms and
my
everything.
hands
out
go
the
red.
body.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying.
It's
Then you're
just
coming
like,
out. Do you understand what the mind is? The mind brings you into the body like. The mind brings your body into a smaller version of the energy. But the mind, if you open it up and accept it as, it's your identity that condenses it.
Yeah.
You thinking you're thinking.
And it's interesting as well, because a lot of science and that are starting to come to this sort of conclusion, if you like, where the actual mind and memory and everything is not actually in the body.
No, it's
separate to
it's
the
your
body.
field.
Yeah.
Remember the first thought, the solar plexus pulls the energy in, and then the ego, like I always say, I call it the 3-second change. You can read my mind for 3 seconds, but not after that, because then it closes up. So the energy center is just like it opens up quickly and then shuts. But if you just allow it through, it stays open. It's like a lens in a way.
Yeah.
But if you just say, all right, just let it through me. This is why when you sleep, you can't control your dreams, because you can't. Because the mind will then condense it. But when you're asleep, you don't have your mind. You see?
No.
So that's the difference. The mind is just, shall we say, a door. I like that. It's just a door.
Yeah, I was good. Just was good as well, because I'm a big believer when I meet people like yourself. I believe a lot of people have got a book in them, right?
You're only a book.
But yours will certainly be a very intriguing book to read, because obviously
this is what I mean. They'll pick it up. They'll rather burn their hands, or they'll be energized by it. Yeah. Remember, a trigger. Explain what a trigger is. A trigger is you feeling your own itchy and it's all past energy, negative energy. That's why we react in such a negative way, and it's like an electric shock.
And what would your book be called?
Huh?
What would your book be called?
A Letter to Humanity.
A Letter to Humanity. I love that. I love that.
I've tried so many names, and that's the name.
A Letter to Humanity.
And I kept saying, no, I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. I sound like a spiritual person. Don't want to do that. And he kept saying, it's not this is your letter to humanity. Everyone's got to write their own letter to humanity.
I'm sure there'll be people who listen to this podcast. There'll be somewhere out there who'll be like, do you know what? I'd love to write a fucking book. They will. And do you know what? Get in touch with us if you do, because I could imagine someone just who really just feels every word you're saying and would be honoured to write that book.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, somebody. I've not even told you half of me.
And that's why when we've got the new studio, we're going to get you back.
It's going to be weeks, but you can't. There's too much here.
It's going to be a big book, this, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is why I've never been able to write it. I have tried loads of times. But I'm saying, which do I write about? My own life or my experiences? And then all of a sudden it collapses in front of me.
But to be fair, Linda, from our point of view, we'll be able to say we had the podcast before the book. No, right, we will be able to say we had her here first. So when you're famous, and I know you're not interested in none of that kind of stuff.
Listen, if I'm famous, then there'll be no more famous people. All right, put that in fucking because then I'll end what famous is. Because this famous culture celebrity thing has got to be collapsed.
I agree.
No one's famous in this world. This is why it's satanic.
Yeah.
Because everyone's thinking they're famous.
Yeah.
We're just one famous energy.
In that respect, then,
that's why I said I will not take payment for anything, and anyone who's been following me for the last fucking loads of years, they know that.
Yeah.
As soon as they say to me, I've had so many people, Linda, have you got a PayPal account? I want to pay this in. I go, don't! My God, what are you trying to do? I hate it.
It's interesting.
I've been calling them out for the last fucking 20 years about that.
About the satanic stuff and Hollywood and all the fame.
They've sold the souls. That's why they're like that.
Well, yeah, it makes me then question.
Your soul is the part of you that's the most precious commodity in existence.
So we're in hell. So
we're all in hell, though.
Yeah. So there is.
You can only sell yourself to your own hell, though.
It seems like it's an easy thing to sell yourself in hell than it is to actually go on the ride. But when you die, you automatically get your soul back. All these people that keep going on about this archonic energy and we're here and they're keeping us here, certain demons. No. When you're born, nothing exists, so you've made yourself come here. Okay, can you explain something to me? Right. Because this is a question that I wanted to ask you. What are archons?
Archons are like lost souls.
Okay.
They think that they think that they're in certain realities. They're really lost souls. The demonic energy that's refusing to give up, shall we say, their own trauma.
And are they controlling this?
I thought it was them little brown.
Nothing's controlling this.
We're controlling.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, they're playing a part on trying to trick you.
Everything, yes. Because they want this reality to stay the reality. If we waken, then the old earth can't be here. Well, they will have to enter their own light.
Yeah.
Do you get it? They'll have to look for themselves.
We create the light and they have no choice but to be in the light.
That's why I say stir, don't say it's bad. We pull them in.
Yeah,
and they know we're going to pull them in. The time's up. It's really
would that be on the same thing as like parasites?
Yes, that's all they are, parasites. And when when you're awakening, you see your own parasites. They've got parasites around you. I had worms all the time when I was a kid. But that's only because other people was feeding off me energy.
Interesting.
But we need that. We have to have parasites in the world. But when we're all cleansed, there's no parasites there.
So are these, could you perceive these as beings such as, they say, Draco, Reptilian, Anunnaki?
They're just
all
parasites.
Just beings.
The royal family are just parasites. You have to understand, because they...
A lot of people will agree with that.
It's true. It's true.
And politicians.
You know the rich people, when you're watching telly, when you're watching the Oscars and you're clapping for everyone... Mm-hmm. Then parasites are like getting all the energy.
So they're feeding that energy.
Yes.
Harvesting.
Soul harvesting is what that's about.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That does make sense to me. It's a funny one.
It's what I mean.
Is there, without any sort of like us asking you questions, is there anything that sort of you would love to just share? Like something that's really passionate for you that you can tell people?
Yes. Own yourself and stop struggling with yourself. And that's the only thing I'm going to leave it on. Because if you're not struggling with yourself, then every other self is pure. There's no demons there then.
So
But you've got to own your own demons.
And again, so
Because your demons are worse than somebody else's demons.
yeah,
That's what I
Yeah,
mean.
do
The
you know
demons that are on this earth, there's nothing compared to ours.
every conversation we have always sort of finds its way back to letting go and self-mastery.
All you need to understand is
Yes,
when you
we
look
do
in a
all the
mirror,
time.
when you look at someone, you're looking in your own mirror. That's it. When you talk about someone, you're talking about yourself. You just keep convincing yourself that, and eventually you'll let go. You'll let go of questioning then. I don't question nothing. I don't question another person. I don't question God. I don't question Satan. I don't question myself. If there's no questions,
So,
how can you...
That makes
how can you
sense, that,
struggle?
because sometimes when I'm driving, I see someone and I go, "You fat bastard." Really? And what I'm
To
doing
yourself.
is, I'm actually saying it about myself. And I love it.
And when you're saying to me, "Linda, but what do we say for the people on the show?" You're like, "That, Linda, how can I convince myself there? You know, how can I make myself understand?" That's what you're doing to me. But I play with that inside. I just find that so beautiful.
love it, love
That's
it.
what I'm saying. Even evilness, I find beautiful, because it's just like a baby that's cutting a tooth to me. Ooh, I like that.
It's lovely.
Yeah, and now I'm finished.
Good. Fantastic.
Thank you so much, Linda. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate
No, lots more to get you back and delve
Well, I'm
into.
away a month, and then when I come back, I'm not going to be on the social anymore.
Well, the what's called the room will be ready.
I've got to completely unplug then. He said to me, and then you're ready. So, and then I have to let people help me, you know.
Yeah, good. And that's important as well, isn't it? It's
if you
important to
don't- if
receive
you-
and
This is your problem. If you don't take back as much as you're giving, then the water system becomes stagnant. It's like when the river leaves the ocean, it can choose to go back. Okay? It's never ever separate, because there's always rain and there's always energy. And I'll leave it on that.
fantastic.
Lovely. Thank you very much.